YouTube channel.
Kick to it. Oh, but the Chiefs have won. The Chiefs have won.
What a tremendous Tuesday afternoon. How are you? And welcome to the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, and Facebook. As always, Jason Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website where 100% of the revenue stays right here in the lovely province of Alberta. And whoo, mama. It is a Lotto Max, $60 million up for grabs tonight. Get your tickets before 8:30 to get in the draw at playalberta.ca. It's a big day because the gang is all back together. The con man, the new father. Geez, I wonder if Struddy's watched the Godfather 4 yet. What would happen? Connor becomes a father before Godfather 4 came out. Would have bet on the former for sure. And that's indeed what has happened. And the con man is back. 11 days with young Benjamin. How's fatherhood, Cons?
It is tiring, I will say. A whole new respect for those of you who have gone through it already. I got, I think, 5.5 hours of sleep consecutively, and that was the most since he was born. So that part's pretty good, actually. But yeah, it's been fantastic. Ashley did an amazing job on that day. It was a long day. She knocked it out of the park. She's doing fantastic. And Ben's been a blessing. He's so much fun. Tell you, Greg, a little bit of stress here and there. You went through it, but then kind of at the end of the day, you sit there with them, and it's worth it. It's fantastic. So happy you guys were able to cover for me. I appreciate that, and glad to be back here.
Yeah, no problem. How many Chargers outfits do you have for him yet?
Okay, so he does have the Herbert jersey onesie. He's got about 3 or 4 other onesies. He's got a toque. He's got some clothes that his aunt generously gave back to me. All the stuff that I had bought previously for the nephews has been since returned. So he's got probably till the age of 5 covered when it comes to Chargers gear.
All right.
And hey, 2-0. He's never seen them lose.
Ooh,
so far, so
that's
good.
True. Hey, yeah, there you go. 2 Sundays. All right. I like it. Hasn't watched much, but he's probably, he's napping in between. So that's good. Well, that's awesome to hear. And everything is going well. No, the first, it's always every different stage I find of your young kids' lives is great. And obviously my son's only 10, so I can't speak for any ages above that, but soon to be 11, he reminds me daily, but it's fun. Now he's at the stage where he likes to chirp back a little bit, which is great. So it's loads of fun. And that young age is one. I know people always say, oh, this is my favorite stage. And then all of a sudden a new age comes, and that's what you'll find is just when you like one, and then another one comes along, and it's pretty awesome. So glad to hear that everyone's doing well, and no major issues. Were you like Struddy? Did the nurses have to help you, or were you pretty good?
No, it's funny. We actually had a plan. I was going to be by Ashley's side, not see anything. And then as it was happening, it happened quick. Doctor's like, all right, grab a leg. So I was right there, saw his head come out. Doctor was quite funny. He has a very good head of hair. And she's like, oh, I'm going to give him a faux hawk. Got some good laughs, but I saw everything. I wasn't necessarily planning on seeing everything, but I'm glad I did. Cut the umbilical cord. Was hesitant about that, but the doctor's like, no, you got to do it. So, yeah, I'm like, hey, let's do it. And yeah, it's a whole new respect. Like, I think I told Ashley immediately, I got to call my mom. I got to thank her for what she went through to birth me, because it is unbelievable, and times where you're just thankful you're a guy.
How long was labor?
So induced 10 a.m. Baby was born 4:45.
Okay, so not bad.
So not
bad.
Could have been a lot worse. Yeah.
Oh yeah. 100%.
We heard some people around us in the hospital. It sounded a lot worse. Not to downplay what Ashley went through, but he was born just in time for 5 questions. I said, ready to go.
Nice. Well, that's outstanding. And did you come up with a middle name yet?
We did.
Are we allowed to say it?
Henry.
Henry.
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
It has nothing to do with, like, I've had people say, what's the relevance?
There's
There's
no
no
relevance to it.
relevance.
You just
No.
liked Henry.
We just like the name.
Went old school.
Yeah,
All right.
absolutely.
Okay. So will we be calling him Henry or Benjamin?
I think it's gonna be Ben or Benny.
Oh.
Benjamin's a little formal, so if I
but Benjamin sounds very like, hey, this is Benjamin. Like,
yeah.
You know?
Have you ever heard Matthew Stafford mic'd up when the crowd was calling him Matt? And he said, "Tell him to call me Matthew and I'll address them."
See?
That could be Benjamin. He might be like that one day. Like, that's not my name. My name is Benjamin.
Comes with a little bit more authority.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
I like it. So there you go. Well, that's awesome. So 2-0. We shall see. Lots of texts because a lot of people were wondering about the middle name and if that'll be what his dad calls him. But obviously, you've learned from your father's mistakes, so he'll be a Benjamin, right? Not a Henry.
My aunt texted me that night. We didn't have the middle name yet, and I said, "Yeah." She said, "You probably have some PTSD from that." I said, "Yeah, a little bit." So we're gonna go by the first name only.
Okay, there you go. I like it. Awesome. So lots going on. Big, great to have Conman back running the show. Of course, Deck did a great job when you were gone. Of course, he's running everything at Orders Nation YouTube and Facebook and X. Right now, we got a lot of texts flying in. 833-401-1440. 833-401-1440 in our inbox. You can always text in your thoughts there. It's great. It's easy. It's simple. And you can up your game at Ewell, your trusted electrical distributor. The Edmonton Oilers, no lineup changes. Why would they? They finally scored 7 goals. Now, we all know some of those, like Kevin Lankinen, the save he made on Nugent Hopkins, ridiculous. But then the goal he allowed by Brett Kulak, tough one. But either way, the Oilers, outside of the, minute and a half when Vancouver scored 2 goals, Edmonton controlled a lot of that game. And the difference is they got some goals. Their power play scored once right after the power play expired. And then the other time, Nugent Hopkins thought he scored. So easily, that was the best game that they've had from their power play, at least far effectiveness goes and creating some chances. And now we'll see. They're at home tonight. And those of you who are season ticket holders and those of you who go to games regularly will know that this year has not been great for fans going to home games. The Oilers have won twice in 8 home games. They did lose once in overtime, so they're 2-5-1. They have the worst home points percentage in the NHL right now at .313. It ain't good at all. So they need to get a win tonight, beat Nashville this week. Then you get on a little bit of a run before they head out on the road for games in Toronto on Saturday, next Monday and Tuesday in Montreal and Ottawa. So the lines will start with McDavid, Skinner, and Hyman, Draisaitl, Podkolzin, and Arvidsson. Did you know that those 3 forwards are all top 5 in the NHL in shot for percentage? Draisaitl is second, Podkolzin's 4th, Arvidsson's 5th. And they've only played 75 minutes together. So it's not just as them as a line. Wherever they're playing, they've been out shooting the opposition significantly. So that's a good sign. Now they just need to get some goals. Podkolzin hasn't scored a goal since March 23rd. Geez, where'd you hear this one, Oilers fans? Now, the difference is Podkolzin this year's first 15 games to maybe Connor Brown's first 15 games last year's. Brown really hadn't had a sniff. Podkolzin's, he's had a dominant fight. He's had some big hits. He's got a few assists. But, hey, you got to start scoring. And trust me, when he scores one, it'll be a big relief. Brett Kulak, who's off to the greatest start of his NHL career, and I love Kulak. We'll play his interview coming up. Trust me. I loved his honesty talking about his offensive explosion early on. And trust me, he's on pace for 20 goals. His career high is 6. Okay, this is a great start for Kulak. Now, I'm not expecting him to score 20 goals. It'd be amazing if he did, but let's be real. You know what? I just hope he breaks his career high. Why not? I don't care who you are. You like to score goals, even if you're not a goal scorer, as he alluded to in the interview. So we'll get to Kulak here early on in the show because some of his answers for anybody who plays hockey at any level, I really like the honesty that came in with it. Butch Goring, longtime member of the New York Islanders, was a huge part of them winning 4 in a row back in the early 1980s. Former Islander, current analyst, he will join us Paul, sir, we'll talk a little basketball. What about the Cleveland Cavaliers? Any Cavs fans out there? I know we got a few Browns fans who listen to the show, but what about Cleveland Cavalier fans? Because they are only the 7th team in NBA history to start a season 12-0. Not bad at all. They are the first team since the Warriors in 15-16. That's when they started 24-0. God, they were dominant that year. And then somehow lost in the NBA Finals. Prior to that, you had the 1994 Rockets were 15-0. They won the championship. The 2003 Mavs went 14-0. They lost in the third round. The 58 Celtics, 14-0, lost the NBA final. The 97 Bulls, 12-0, won the championship. And the 83 Sonics, 12-0, they lost in the first round. But everybody else, kind of a precursor to being a good team and getting to at least the third round. And if you look at the NBA East right now, the Cavaliers and the Celtics are the only two teams above 500. That's it. Two. Now, the Pacers are at least 500, but they're not above it. They're 5-5. Everybody else has a losing record in the East right now. That's terrible. Now, the 76ers, they're 2-7. The Bucks are 2-8. Now, the Raptors we thought would be brutal, and they are. They're 2-9. Hawks, Pistons, Bulls, 4-7. Hornets, 4-6. Heat, Knicks, 4-5. Like, it is just Suckville in the East right now. Meanwhile, the West, you got the Thunder, 9-2. Suns and Warriors, 8-2. Nuggets, 7-3. Rockets, Grizzlies, 7-4. Lakers, Timberwolves, 6-4. Clippers, 6-5. Sacramento Kings, 6-5. The Mavericks are 5-5. Now, they got three bad teams to play. Trailblazers, 3-8. Pelicans, 3-8. Utah Jazz, 2-7. But it is a big separation right now, East versus West. And if you look at the next two games for the Cleveland Cavaliers, they take on the 76ers, who are 2-7. You'd think they could win that game. And then they take on the Bulls next. Then we'll get to 14-0. All of a sudden, then they'll be one of only 5 teams to go 14-0. If they could get to 16-0, they'd be only the 7th team. So they're off to an unbelievable start. Now, they got Mitchell, but not a lot of people thought that they'd be a dominant team right now. But, man, they are fun to watch. So we'll talk a little basketball and hoops with Paul Sir. TR will be by from 3 to 5 today. Dave McCarthy, our regular. Actually, Dave, is he in today, Cons? Because he might be switching to Wednesday. I don't know. Did you talk to him?
He's going to come on via the phone today.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. We got Strudwick will be by, Spec, DVD, and more. So a busy Tuesday. As always, we'll take your text, 833-401-1440. Hey, Connor, Hank would be a sweet nickname from Titan for Henry.
Hank, yeah, man, big fan of King of the Hill, so I don't hate it. Yeah.
Not bad at all.
Got to stick with the first name.
Yeah.
Benjamin when he's in trouble.
Oh yeah. Benjamin Henry when he's in trouble.
Yeah.
That's when you know you've annoyed your parents to the point of first and middle name are called out. So there you go. Also this week, Connor Halley, a team that they've been in the league, but they haven't been in the city in quite some time. The Edmonton Oil Kings, who have seemingly been on the road for like forever. Their last home game was October 17th. They went on the road to Everett, Portland, Tri-Cities, Spokane, Seattle, Wenatchee, Medicine Hat, Swift Current. And they are finally back at home tomorrow night to take on the Medicine Hat Tigers. And then they're back on the road this weekend in PA or Saskatoon and PA. They'll get a stretch. They get into December and they got a lot of home games, which would be nice for them. So they got over the toughest part of their schedule, which is nice. And now we'll see if they can get on a little bit of a roll in the Western Hockey League. Also over the weekend, speaking of a roll, the Chiefs, they just find new ways to win. And Dan Orlovsky, I thought, did a great job. If you saw the breakdown of his video, talking about how it was like they were just setting them up, Connor Halley, for a block field goal, coming consistently on the left side of their line, bulldozing the guy. Oh, and then finally they get through and they block what would have been a game-winning field goal had he hit it for Denver, but it's not. And the Chiefs remain perfect, 9-0.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. And the Chiefs, it feels like if you're in the final 2 minutes and you're not up by 9, even that might be a little close so they could find a way to do it. You're going to lose. Like the Kansas City Chiefs just continually find ways to win football games in weird ways. They get the job done. And you look at that schedule. Like, I don't want to say undefeated season, but
Well, they got this is the
Bills,
game though.
This is it.
This
Yeah.
is the Bills. It's a huge game, right? 9. And if the Bills have any hope, if they think there's a chance they can catch him, this is a must win for the Bills.
In Buffalo too, so you
Yeah.
have home field advantage. You know the crowd's going to be crazy there. Like this was the one. I know they flexed Chargers, Bengals, but this would have been one I wouldn't have minded seeing flexed. Prime time.
Oh, 100%.
Like this is going to be one heck of a game.
Well, hey, the Commanders Eagles on Thursday night should be a hell of a game.
Yeah.
Right. So that's 7-3 Commanders, 7-2 Eagles. So that should be good. Other games, well, the Packers and the Bears stink all of a sudden. Oh my God. How do you give up 9 sacks? That was ugly. The Lions found a way to come from behind. They're really good. They're going to spank the Jaguars, no question. Other than that, you got a lot of like crappy teams playing each other. The Raiders playing the Dolphins, Rams and Patriots, Browns and Saints. Now the Ravens Steelers.
Yeah.
There's another great game. So you got 3 pretty good games. Even the Seahawks and the 49ers, rather intriguing one. But yeah, the Chiefs and the Bills, you have the Thursday nighter, and then you have the Steelers and the Ravens. Those are 3 pretty big games. I know the Monday nighter, but the Cowboys are awful. Texans, they're all right. But yeah, the Bengals Chargers. So that's the game they flexed, eh?
Yeah. I mean, it's massive for the Bengals, right? They need a win. It's going to be interesting because the Bengals played a heck of a game. Well, offensively, were a great game. They just couldn't stop Lamar Jackson. Justin Herbert's going to have to play that good if they want to find a way to win, because Joe Burrow is playing amazing football right now. Number one example, wins, not a QB stat. He's playing some fantastic football, but his defense is just crushing it right now. They can't stop anything. It's brutal to watch. So that should be a fun one. But Chiefs, Bills, like that's going to be a heck of a game. And then you touched on it there as well. Steelers, Ravens. I think that's going to be a lot of fun. And that AFC North, that always competitive, always tough. Tomlin is such a good coach. He could have a mediocre QB play, and he's going to make the playoffs. Russell Wilson, Justin Fields, whoever it's been, they've been getting pretty good play out of the quarterback. Going to be a fun one Sunday morning to start it all off.
Yeah, no, it should be great. Also, it is Grey Cup week in the CFL. You have the Winnipeg Blue Bombers going to their 5th consecutive Grey Cup. They are on quite the run, no question. They've been dominant. And, the only negative for Winnipeg is they're probably thinking, man, could have won a few more of these, right? They lost to Montreal last season, right? And then year before that, they lost to the Argos after winning 2 in a row. So a little bit of revenge. And both those games were tight, right? They lost 24-23 and 28-24, I think it was. Now, they'll come in as the heavy favorite in my eyes. I didn't even know. I should check out PlayAlberta.ca what the line is already. But God, I got to think the Bombers are up big, especially with the injury to Chad Kelly. I would have to think the spread is 10.5 right now for the Bombers to win. So not a lot of people thinking the Argos can win, and I would agree. I think the Bombers are going to blow them out.
See, Kelly's not making the trip.
Well, did you see
with the injury?
Yeah.
I thought he might hop on get him a little bus or something, take him down there. But
busing from Toronto to BC.
Yeah, why not?
No.
Prove yourself.
Dude.
We got concerns about his character.
Didn't he have a massive fracture of his leg?
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
hop on the bus.
He ain't traveling. I don't expect him to travel. Like, trust me, he would like to go, but
Patrick Mahomes would do it.
Yeah, no. Mahomes doesn't get injured. Knock on wood.
You think he does, and then he's right back out
well,
there.
That's true. Yeah, he's a little bit Gumby. So that's great. So they will. I'm taking the Bombers on Monday. We'll see what happens. Randy Ambrosi, this is his final week as commissioner in the CFL. Well, I guess he'll stay around until they have official replacement, but this is kind of his last official business as the commish of the CFL. I'm kind of curious to see who steps up as the next commissioner of the CFL. Also, former Oilers Andreas Athanasiou, Matt Benning, both of them cleared waivers. So Athanasiou is going to go to Rockford, and Matt Benning will stay in Toronto. He'll just go to the Marlies in the AHL. And the Oilers, I look at it, no lineup changes. I mentioned Stu Skinner's going to start in goal. Skinner's going tonight because they're going to put Pickard in goal against Nashville. He's 2-0. Plus, give Skinner a little bit rest. I would assume then Skinner's going to play in Toronto on Saturday. And, having talked to lots of goalies, like when they play back-to-back, they would play Monday, Tuesday. He'd rather play the Monday game. So he plays Saturday, Monday, and you go with Pickard on Tuesday. But we'll see what they do as the Oilers They just want to try to get some momentum here. That 7-3 game, we'll see what it means to this team, but the head coach is fairly confident that it's going to give his team a boost. Lots of guys can relax, right? Connor Brown scored twice. McDavid scored. The power play scored. Draisaitl scores again. So there's lots of positives from that game for the Edmonton Oilers, and we'll see. Obviously, their penalty kill still it's a work in progress, to put it politely. A work in progress, but very good. The Islanders come in. They're banged up. No Barzell, no Duclair. Adam Pelech, one of their best defensemen, he's out. You look at their decor, and I would expect the Oilers, you got to take advantage of this decor. So you've got Isaiah George. This is a great story. He was the 98th overall pick in 2022, and he's already in the NHL. There's only 14 first-rounders that even played a game. Played more than 3 games than what he's played so far. And so he's on their second pair with Noah Dobson. They got Kulak and Mayfield on the top pair, and then Hutton and Cholowski, 2 kind of guys that are more AHLers than NHLers. You're the Oilers. You got to take advantage of this decor. Then you throw in, I said, Duclair's hurt. Barzell is out. They are banged up. So you got to find a way to win this game and score some goals on home ice. Because the Oilers last year, highest scoring team in the league on home ice, tied with Colorado. This year, they're dead last in goals. They haven't even averaged 2 goals a game on home ice. Ugly. So maybe tonight. And funny enough, it's almost a year to the day that Chris Knobloch joined the Edmonton Oilers. And you know who his first game was against? At home, the New York Islanders. And that started a stretch of 8 consecutive home victories for the Edmonton Oilers. They actually won 27 of their 35 home games under Knobloch. That is dominant. So we'll see if they can get off the schneid on home ice tonight. So take a quick break. And Butch Goring, one of the greatest helmets in NHL history, will join us next on the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, and X, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Hockey is back, and Play Alberta, Alberta's #1 sportsbook and official partner of the Edmonton Oilers, has you covered with bigger offers, boosted odds, live betting, player props, and more. New to Play Alberta? New players now receive $200 in free bets just for signing up. You already play? Get a $10 free bet for every $100 you bet. Every week, all season long. Visit playalberta.ca and make your picks today. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
You've heard people say dream big and think about your future. Well, at GS Construction, we live by those words every day. You see, GS Construction lays pipes in the underground systems in your area. So we don't just think about today. We think about tomorrow and the future of Edmonton's communities and neighborhoods, the places we call and the places we don't call home.
President, proudly delivering world-class hydraulic tool purchases in Canada since 2016. I'm thrilled to announce our in-house production of tool components and accessories for faster turnarounds and enhanced versatility. The future is here at Cantor.com.
Get early access to real Black Friday prices now at The Brick. Save up to 65% off select sofas when you buy the matching Love Seater chair, up to 25% off bedroom and dining furniture, plus save up to $700 off a big screen TV and get free shipping on TVs over 50 inches. Find 40% off mattresses and next day delivery on in-stock beds. Plus save 3 times the tax when you buy 2 or more Samsung major kitchen appliances. Find a lower price before the end of the year, and The Brick will refund the difference. Some exclusions apply. See you in store for details.
Edmonton's premium live music and party venue is
On the Rocks.
Check out Bingo Tunes on Monday. Perform on the best stage in town with karaoke on Wednesdays. Learn how to salsa with Salsa Rocks on Thursdays. And every weekend, OTR goes live.
With your favorite bands on the OTR stage and DJ Kenny K.
For everything that's going on at On the Rocks, give us a follow.
Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter.
At On the Rocks, EDM.
Eat well, party hard.
On the Rocks.
On the Rocks.
On the Rocks. Open every day till 2 a.m.
Mr. Rooter plays a video game.
This is wonderful. A world where a plumber is the hero. My hat is off to you, Mario. Although I personally advise against eating any mushrooms found in a drain pipe. I won't make that mistake twice. All I've got to do now is hop over this Goomba and save the princess. What? No way. I pressed jump. I pressed jump.
For a super plumber with an all-time high score, call Mr. Rooter.
Need a truck? Want a great deal on a truck? Get into Wolf GMC Buick. It's GMC's Canada-wide clearance. Take advantage of 0% financing on Sierra half-tons. Oh, and guess what? GMC employee pricing is back on all in-stock 2024 Sierra HDs and Yukons. That means thousands of dollars in savings on GMC Sierra 3/4 ton and 1 ton. Also thousands off the industry-leading SUV, the GMC Yukon. Get to Wolf GMC Buick now and drive away with money off and a smile on. Just off the Anthony Henday.
Hand delivering a hamper to a family in need fills everyone's hearts with joy. Be part of the Holiday Hamper program. Adopt a local family and see the difference your groceries and gifts make firsthand. Sign up today at holidayhamper.ca.
You got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939, we're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
I'm Colin Livingston, president of Cantor. Since 2016, we've been at the forefront of hydraulic torque wrenches in Canada. I'm delighted to share our latest venture, in-house production for quicker turnaround, superior quality, and heightened versatility. Experience excellence at Cantork.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by On the Rocks. Watch every Oilers game at OTR with $5.25 Molson Canadian and $5 Pankutni shots plus 60-cent wings. You can also play Oilers Score and Win for your chance to win On the Rocks gift cards. Oilers Hockey at OTR. Book your table today. Jasper Ave and 118th.
Sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
We continue on game day on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation YouTube and Facebook and X. Thanks as always for joining and watching, listening to the show at sports1440.ca. Maybe you're on the app anywhere in the local listen area, or you're on the road in the province, across the country. Take us anywhere you want. We love it at iHeartRadio, the Radio Player app, or on Stingray. Now, let's get to the oil report brought to you by VolvoCarsEdmonton.com. They are Canada's #1 Volvo dealership, 13-time running as an Excellence Award winner in sales and service. And we just got a new XC90 Vapor Gray. Telling you, sweet. So check it out at playalberta.ca. Our next guest, longtime member of the New York Islanders, was a key member when they won 4 consecutive Stanley Cups, and has now been a longtime analyst for the Islanders, Butch Goring. Welcome back to the show, Butch. How you doing, my man?
I'm doing pretty well, and I'm excited to be in Edmonton because I'm not freezing my butt off at this time of the year.
Touche. Get in early. Yeah, the weather's actually been really good here. I guess let's start with the tough news for the Islanders is just the injury bug has bit them pretty hard. Barzal, Duclair, Adam Pelech, one of their best defenders, like 3 of their kind of top 6 D-men. Riley's out and Romanov's out. It's really kind of decimated their blue line a bit.
Yeah, it's been a challenge for the Islanders, no question. I mean, not too often do you see your whole left side be out with injury, and then of course 2 of the better offensive players are out. But you know what? I give a lot of marks to the team that's playing now. They've played hard. They picked up the slack, and they've been able to be very, very competitive. They've won some games. They've struggled at times, but I defy any other team to go through what they've gone through with injuries and have any kind of success. So I think everybody has felt pretty good about what the Islanders have been able to accomplish given the injuries.
Yeah. Looking at their lineup, Matty Barzal goes out. That's a huge loss for them. Now, Bo Horvat, he moves into kind of that #1 slot. Butch, who, offense has been a struggle for sure for the Islanders. I think they're 27th in offense, but who do you feel has stepped up in the absence of Duclair and Barzal?
Well, you know what? I'd like to tell you everybody, because you need everybody pulling the rope in the same direction when you lose as many players as the Islanders have. But there's been some guys that I think that have surprised a little people. Anders Lee has been really good. I think he's off to his best start for quite a while. And he's the captain and he's leading by example. Kyle Palmieri has been very, very good. He continues to score goals, and of course, Brock Nelson is doing what he does and scoring goals. So the veterans, I guess you could say, the guys that everybody, people keep saying are too old, well, they're getting the job done.
Yeah, I'm looking at their, the goaltending situation in Sorokin and Varlamov. Sorokin, of course, is their guy long-term, no question. Last year, there was a little bit where, even he wasn't getting starts in the playoffs with Patrick Waugh, who obviously is a pretty good goaltender himself. Where do you see the goaltending at right now? Is Sorokin back to the level that he expects to be at?
I think he's back to the level where everybody expects him to be, that Vezina run that he had 2 years ago. And nobody knew, he had the off year, but nobody knows whether he was hurting all year, because he did end up having surgery in the off season. And but since he's been back this year, he's been sensational. I mean, I think in all his starts, I think he maybe have let one goal in that you might question a little bit, and probably stopped about 30 that should have gone in, and he found ways to make saves. So he's given the Islanders the type of goaltending that keeps him in the hockey game. And I think the type of goaltending would makes him feel good and management, because it's really been good. And Varlamov's has been good. He's been solid. He struggled a little bit. A couple of games where he weren't as sharp as you would like him, but the last couple of starts, he's been really good. So the Islanders do not have any issues in that.
Butch, I wanted to go back a little bit to your career. You started out, you were an LA King for a long time. You had lots of personal success there. The team maybe didn't have a lot of great success. Then you got dealt to the Islanders at the deadline in 1980. And obviously then you won 4 consecutive Cup. Can you kind of take us back to what your initial reaction was? Like, were you looking forward to a trade? Had it been talked about? Kind of take us through, because you joined the team. You became an integral part of that group. And you know what? Obviously, they'd been good, but you kind of helped them play a key role to get over the top. Take us back to what your mindset was. Were you looking for a trade? Were you surprised it was the Islanders?
Well, there had been a lot of talk in the fall of that year that I was going to be traded, and the name Barry Beck came up, and he was in Colorado at the time, and that lasted for maybe about a month in September, October, and then nothing at all for the rest of the time. Although there was times during the season, particularly in January, February, where I wasn't being played as much as I had normally had played. So I'm not sure what the reasons were, but I never thought about the trade, and I mean, I was on, I think, the second year of a 6-year deal, so
yeah, I
didn't sign to get traded, and so as everybody knows, I was traded I was in Montreal at the time and played, and the trade was announced when we were in Montreal, and my initial reaction was one, I was really bitter. I was not happy. Again, I did not want to get traded. I was happy, living in LA and with lots of friends and great teammates. And as I said, I signed a long-term deal for knowing maybe we weren't going to win a cup, but like I said, I liked LA and everything about it. So I was very, very angry with my initial thoughts.
So you're angry, then you get to New York. What was the first conversation to make you maybe calm down? Did anyone have a conversation, or just you kind of yourself to say, okay, let's make the most of this?
Yeah, I don't think. I mean, there was a couple of guys I knew on the team that I had been with in Springfield. That was a guy named Johnny Potvin and of course Billy Smith. And so they were happy to see me, particularly Billy. We had been, as I said, teammates. We won a Calder Cup together back in Springfield in 1971. So that was comforting for me. But other than that, nobody said much really. I got there game day and I always felt that, okay, I'm here and I'm a pretty competitive guy. So, it didn't take me very long just to get right into the swing of things. And once I stepped on the ice, well, now I'm playing hockey and it doesn't matter who I'm playing for. I've got only one thing on my mind, and that was to win.
And you'd never really been, that close to winning before. I think the most playoff games in 1 year, if my memory's correct, you'd played was 9 or 10. So you got to that. Did you know rather quickly, Butch, when you after 4 or 5 games, okay, we're really good? Or did it take a while for you to really grasp how good your team was?
No, they were good before I ever got there.
Yeah.
I mean, particularly in 1979, they finished first overall in the league. So, I mean, that's a pretty good hockey team. So I had a pretty good handle. I remember talking to Bobby Clark, who's a good friend of mine, and during the season before I got traded, and I had said to him, I said, Bobby, what's going on with the Islanders? Because they were struggling in the 79-80 season. They had some injuries. Dennis Potvin was hurt, and I had a couple other people, but they weren't playing well. They were playing about 500 hockey, and I think everybody in the league knew that, because they had been really good the year before. So getting to the Islanders, when I had a chance to sort of sit down and say, okay, now what am I doing? I knew right away that, this is a team that, that might win a Stanley Cup, and I could be part of it. So, like I said, it didn't take me long really to get into, the swing of things. And of course we went 8-0-4. So that really helps.
Yeah. You're just like, what's this losing stuff? I never want to lose again. And then you go in the playoffs, Butch, and it was not like you didn't just go there and play. You contributed your 6 goals in those 12 games in the regular season. Then you scored 19 points in the playoffs and 20 the next year. And you know what? Those teams, man, were obviously some of the greatest. And near the end, you played the Oilers 2 in a row. You beat them the first year, then they beat you the second year. Then they took over as kind of the next dynasty in the National Hockey League. But when you look back at what a career you had, and it's funny how at the time you're like, God, I didn't want to get traded. And then you look back, and I have to think that trade turned out to be one of the best things that ever happened to you in your entire life.
Well, it made my career. There's no question about it. As you mentioned earlier on, I had a pretty good career in LA going, and we never were where we would like to have been. Take a real run at the Stanley Cup. I think we got to the second round, and so that part of it was disappointing. But to go to the New York Islanders and be able to win 4 straight Stanley Cups, so all of a sudden everybody knows who you are, right? They don't remember that you're in LA and you had some pretty solid statistics. They just remember that, you won the Stanley Cups, and everybody, and, certainly in North America, they're watching the Stanley Cup and they're watching the Stanley Cup finals. So everybody gets to see you on a regular basis, where in LA, I didn't have that much exposure.
Butch Goring joined us. And Butch, going back even further, just because they're off to such an unreal start, you actually played for the Winnipeg Jets back in the WCHL before it became the WHL. And, you had a great year there, but you look at that city and that team now, 14-1, the greatest start in NHL history. It's, quite something to see the Jets playing that well.
Well, I'm thrilled to death for them for a couple of reasons. Obviously, I'm a Winnipeg boy, so I have a soft spot for the Winnipeg Jets, and I know Kevin Cheveldayoff and Mark Chipman very, very well, and they're great people, and so I'm happy for them, and I'm happy for the fans, and if we can't win the Stanley Cup here with the New York Islanders, and I'm going to pull for the Winnipeg Jets. So I'm thrilled to death, and I got to be honest. I don't think, and I don't think I'm speaking out of turn here. I don't think anybody expected them to have the start that they've had. I mean, they had some issues last year with some injuries and stuff, but no one can, hey, listen, the Stanley Cup champions, Florida team didn't start out 14-0-1. So it's a spectacular start for them, and it's what every team dreams of. Is get out of the gate, establish yourself in a good playoff position, and it makes the season so much easier.
Butch, let's go back to the Islanders, of course, the team you cover very closely. They're currently in 5th place in the Metro Division. They're 4 back of the Rangers, and with all the injuries, they're kind of treading water here. Just it's an opportunity that if they can kind of stay in the hunt until they get healthy, that could make a big difference. What's kind of the update? I saw Romanoff was skating, so he's obviously getting closer. What about the other guys? Anybody close to coming back?
No, I don't think the other 4 are close. I don't believe they're even skating, and so that's. The Islanders, I think, are just trying to stay close, stay status quo. Patrick Roy would tell you, I want to win the next 6 games in a row, but this is a very difficult league, and And it's tough enough to win when you're 100% healthy. So, I mean, given that they're missing, best case scenario, 2 left defensemen and still 2 pretty good offensive type forwards, it's going to be hard for them. There's no question. But I got to tell you, they have played very, very well. They've been able to, score some goals. They haven't had a whole lot of luck. And I know a lot of people are going to say, hey, you make your own breaks, but just about anything that can go wrong has gone wrong for the Islanders when you talk about goals for and goals against. And so they've had a tough go of it, but they're hanging in there, and they just need to stay close, that's all. And then when they get everybody healthy, then they're going to start putting things together because they have played very well at times.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Butch. We'll see you at the rink. Appreciate your time.
Oh, thanks for traveling down memory lane with me. It's always fun.
You betcha. I appreciate it. That is Butch. I always like it because, some people out there, you think about a trade to get traded to a team and how and as he said, it made his career. And obviously wasn't happy at the time, but we'll see. Now, when we come back, Andy Petrillo will join us on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Actions speak louder than words. Japa Machinery Group puts your construction plan into action with XCMG construction machinery you need. Available for rental or sale. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
Day or night, tasting just so right. You can order oodle noodle at oodlenoodle.ca. Delivering you the news almost right away. Remember, you can order oodle noodle at oodlenoodle.ca. So stay on your couch all day and order oodlenoodle.ca. Oodle noodle.
Ain't it beautiful? There's electricity in the air. Carrie Dahl here for Volvo of Edmonton, where the Volvo XC40 and C40 fully electric vehicle is now in stock, along with a great selection of Volvo T8 hybrid models. Experience the trusted Volvo quality and technology to power into tomorrow at Volvo Cars Edmonton, Canada's only 12-time Volvo Excellence Award winners. Experience the difference.
Volvo of Edmonton.
Today on Hey Culligan, how smart is your water? Here's Tracy.
Hey Culligan, I think my water might be dumb.
Good news, Tracy. Your water's not dumb. It's just not talking to you.
You can make my water talk.
No, but the new Culligan Smart Drinking Water System can talk to your phone to tell you when your water filters need changing and help you meet drinking water goals.
Now that's some brilliant H2O.
You said it, Tracy, and we're already on the way. Let us help you out with a free in-home water test from a local Culligan water expert at culligan.ca.
Introducing the Female Super League. Female hockey is on the rise with more women playing the game than ever. Join us as we pave the way for the future of women's hockey. The FSL is more than a game. It's a movement and an experience for the motivated female athlete. Teams will compete in a showcase-style format featuring consistent interprovincial competition. Come be part of the journey as the 2024-25 season unveils a 12U division, as well as the launch of a groundbreaking progressive body-checking 14U division. For more information, visit FemaleSuperLeague.com.
Ready to tackle your toughest tasks? Edmonton Kubota has you covered with the all-new M8 Series tractor. With powerful 181 and 201 horsepower engines, Cummins power, and loader readiness, it's built to handle any challenge. And now, for a limited time, get a free 4-year extended warranty when you drive off with an M8 Series tractor. Don't miss out on this unbeatable offer. Visit Edmonton Kubota today and power up your productivity. Edmonton Kubota, where power meets performance.
Cross Mitsubishi, our legendary warranty is going even further.
Right now, upgrade to a 10-year, 200,000-kilometer bumper-to-bumper warranty on your new Mitsubishi.
Cross Mitsubishi will pay $1,000 towards your warranty upgrade, making it easier than ever to drive with confidence.
Visit Cross Mitsubishi today and secure your extended protection. 9605 34th Ave and at crossmitsubishi.ca.
Worried about your debt but don't know how to deal with it? My name is Parveen Middleton, and I'm a licensed insolvency trustee at BDO here in Edmonton. I talk with people about debt every day, and I understand how stressful your situation can be. During a free consultation, I can show you how to lower your payment and become debt-free. I can offer you immediate relief from that overwhelming stress. Call 1-833-BDO-TALK or visit bdodebt.ca to learn more.
Now we're brought to you by Can Torque. We offer sale, rental, repair, and calibration of hydraulic, pneumatic, and battery-powered torque wrenches, stud tensioners, and flange maintenance equipment. Order today at cantorque.com.
From puck drop to kickoff, it's the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.45, welcome back. Game day, Oilers hosting the Islanders. They got a 2-game homestand this week, tonight and Thursday against the Predators, and then they're on the road for 3 games in Toronto, Montreal, and Ottawa. No lineup changes for the Oilers after their 7-3 victory. Stuart Skinner will start in goal. The lines are all the same D pairings. So Travis Dermott is the lone healthy scratch for the Oilers as they continue to try to accrue cap space to give themselves as much cap space as possible before the trade deadline. Now, let's big news today in the world of soccer as the Olympic drone scandal / investigation. Did it wrap up? I don't know. Well, we're going to get to it in a second here because I'm kind of flabbergasted by some of the stuff that came out. As we'll get to our footy report brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling, home of the no payments, no interest for 1 year on your furnace. Stay warm all winter at legacyheating.ca. As we welcome in from CBC and, of course, One Soccer, as well as the NHL on Amazon, Andy Petrillo, our regular Tuesday guest. Andy, how you doing?
I'm great. And your introduction to the whole soccer investigation was pretty much how I felt when I read it.
I'm like, what the hell's going on? So, well, the thing that we'll get to, first of all, the fact that Herdman hasn't given evidence due to scheduling issues. I'm like, pardon? We're in November. You're telling me he was in Toronto. They could never get together. Like, how hard did they try to work for this investigation? Like, doesn't he work for I don't know. I'm just, how the hell is that even possible?
That was a bit of a head scratcher for sure, because that is what they mentioned in the investigation. Now, this is somebody, John Herdman, who has come out and said that under his watch, they've never used drones at Olympics or World Cups. He also said that he would accommodate anything that had to do with this investigation, that he would make himself available. None of that appears to have been true because they blame it on scheduling, that they were never able to connect. But the door was left open in the investigation for there to be conversations with John Herdman. Canada Soccer made it perfectly clear that even though he is no longer, and there was a redacted names in there, and if I were to assume just based on other articles that have been written, and I'll get into that in just a moment when it comes to other articles and allegations, like Jason DeVos has been mentioned, the fact that they're employees of TFC, Canada Soccer still made it perfectly clear that they are the governing body of soccer in Canada, and that includes the 3 Canadian MLS teams. So they still can meet with John Herdman and Jason DeVos. They can still demand that, and it sounds like, based on that investigation, that certain sanctions can still come about because of the code of ethics that they are governed by when it comes to Canada Soccer. So I don't expect it to be over and done with John Herdman. Did he kind of buy himself some time? Like, did this report come out and completely run his name through the mud? No. Do I think other reports will? Yes. And I'll tell you why, because just a few days ago, an article came out in there's been an article in the Globe and Mail. There's been an article in Canadian Soccer Daily. CBC Radio Canada has also come out with stuff, because in order to be a part of this investigation, you had to put your name to paper. And I can tell you, this soccer community is very small, and a lot of people were very hesitant to put their name down because they are still working in the industry, and they were very afraid of repercussions. They never knew who this investigation, like the hands of this investigation landing in. Would there be repercussions? Would something come back to them? So that is why you're going to see a lot of these other reports, like the Globe and Mail coming out and specifically naming Jason DeVos. There was a Canadian Soccer Daily report that came out and specifically admitted that under John Herdman, they spied on an unranked World Cup team in St. Kitts and Nevis, only to discover that they were fishermen and there wasn't anything to really see here. A former women's national player came out and admitted to seeing drone footage. So all these peripheral reporting and journalism, Jason, you're probably going to get a lot more people speaking under anonymity than, the people that spoke in this investigation.
Yeah. So, lots of people may be trying to cover up and, don't want to, say anything bad about someone they know or maybe even themselves. But, the fact that Priestman, so they have this investigation, like, let's be honest. I think everybody knew Priestman wasn't coming back. There was no chance she was coming back. Jasmine Mander, assistant coach, isn't coming back. Analyst Joy Lombardi. But he had already resigned shortly after the games anyway. So they're not, though. So they're looking for a new coaching staff. So that begs the question, Andy, Who are some leading candidates to come in to coach this team?
Well, I mean, right off the top of my head, but here's the thing. The relationship is so damaged between some former players and the Federation. Can they repair it? Now, another thing that was very obvious in this investigation is that President Peter Agruso and General Secretary Kevin Blue made it perfectly clear that they are brand new to this job. That, they're new leaders. Therefore, all of this happened before them. They're not wrong. But I also thought it was, a moment for them to take to basically make that clear to the public. Hey, a lot of this stuff did not happen under our watch. So we want to move on. And maybe they can do that because, off the top of my head, I would think Carmelina Moscato, a former player who is a champion. She won the league title when she was coaching in Mexico. She's currently an assistant coach in the NWSL. She has the chops to do the job. I would say her right away. That's a name that comes to mind immediately. Rian Wilkinson, before Bev Priestman was even hired, they were in negotiations with her, but that soured because it sounded like as they were negotiating, as one does, they were going back and forth on the salary. And suddenly they turned around and announced Bev Priestman. Like this is all stuff that's been documented now and it's come out where Rian Wilkinson felt completely blindsided. She's like, here I am thinking we're in the middle of a negotiation. And then they turn around and go and hire somebody else. So that didn't sit well with her. That didn't sit well with a lot of the players who were her former teammates. But I would think Rian Wilkinson, she's overseas right now coaching. As we know, she's also a champion, having coached the Portland Thorns to a championship in the NWSL. So I would say those are the two immediate names that come to mind, Jason. I mean, if you're going to look also like spread it out, Pa Maduka, he's somebody who was a coach in the CPL. Then he went to MLS Next Pro. Now he's an assistant coach in MLS. Incredible human being, incredible coach. Won the 2021 CPL title with Pacific. He's a great candidate. So there are a lot of candidates out there. But to your point, and I think I've said this before on the show, Canada Soccer was waiting for this investigation to give them the legal right to dismiss Bev Priestman. So there wouldn't be any repercussions of her coming back and suing for unlawful dismissal. So now they have the investigation to say it's been proven that this happened. And then your two assistants, so you're done. Right. What they did make clear in this investigation, and this was also very important to me and I think to a lot of Canadians, is that even though there is a history, they were able to prove culture of drone usage. So there's no denying that. What they did say was that they were unable to find any evidence that drones were used at the Tokyo Olympics where the women won gold. And they think a lot of that had to do with the COVID-19 restrictions. Yeah. You're in China, so good luck with that. But also with the COVID-19 restrictions, there was no usage of drones. So to me, that was the first thing I thought of, Jason, was, oh my goodness, this is the gold medal. Do you know what I mean? Sorry, I should say Tokyo. They were in Japan at the time. Like you're in Tokyo, COVID-19, security is on high alert. So no drones were used in that. And that just makes me feel better because I just want to know that Olympic gold was at least has some purity to it. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, Andy Petrillo joins us. So, Andy, anything else in the investigation? Like, the fact, Heard, wow, it's easy to say you weren't involved in anything, and then you don't go testify to prove, like, that's very convenient, especially when you have players on record as saying, well, yes, there was before. So, I don't think anyone can be that naive, right? We're not in politics right now. So, just because you say something doesn't mean it actually happens. So, you mentioned I understand that, you have to have the proper investigation. My only concern is the fact that they leave the door open. You just leave yourself open to this stretching out longer and longer. I wish they just would have got it done, come out, have all of the ramifications, and then say, okay, here's what happens. This person's out, now we can move forward. Because I don't know if you can truly move forward now with this. I think maybe Herdman and them are hoping they can, but I don't think they're going to be able to.
Well, no, the court's now in Toronto FC's half, right? Like, or the ball's in Toronto FC's court right now. Like, there's no doubt about that. Keith Pelly, Jason Hernandez, these are they're the ones that are going to have to handle the PR fallback. And also, there were already rumors, and this is like rumors, allegations. Like, that's obviously what John Herdman is going to hold on to. He's going to say you have no proof, because technically nobody has proof. The women were busted, but Priestman was busted. He was never busted. However, there were already rumors that he was spying while with TFC during the Canadian Championship, that he was using drones to spy on his opponents. Like, so a lot of this stuff is like there. It's just all there in the periphery. So Keith Pelly and now Jason Hernandez. We'll see what they do with this information, and if they will end up parting ways, with John Herdman and his staff. Again, his entire staff, minus Mauro Biello, were all brought to TFC. So this is the entire Canada Soccer staff now working for Toronto FC. So we'll see what they do with this information. But you're right, the trickle effect will be going on for the next few days, if not weeks, when we start to hear about people either being dismissed or new people coming on board to replace those people. But 3 mandates that they did make, as they said immediately, they're going to create a software system where people at Canada Soccer can anonymously report any incidents of toxic culture. They feel that they wanted to create a safer environment for people to feel that they could do that. So they're creating right now some sort of software that would allow them to do that. They are going to send coaches, employees to ethics training. We've heard that one before. I mean, okay, fine, that's part of it. To me, the software one is a little bit more important. And the other one that's more important to me is they are now going to bring in a third-party auditor to oversee the entire federation and how they conduct themselves. So they're like an ombudsman, I guess, right? Like, they're going to have somebody there now where people feel that they have someone who's separated from the federation, someone who's separated from the soccer community, who can make objective decisions and not be biased in any way. So they're going to implement that third-party overseer as well. So those are going to be the 3 immediate things that Canada Soccer is going to do.
And one last one, of course, congratulations to Cavalry with a huge win, and one that, maybe I think kind of it's kind of an odd thing. You don't want the same team winning all the time.
No, we talked about this last week. So on that note, I'm so happy. And yes, there are still great things happening in Canadian soccer. And I just really hate that sometimes Canada Soccer, they just can't get out of their own way. Because in the Canadian Premier League, we had the final, and it was such a great story between Forge and Cavalry, because Cavalry has been to the final. This was their 3rd time. The previous 2 times they lost to Forge. Last year they lost in epic fashion in extra time, with Forge scoring an Olympico goal, which is a goal straight off a corner kick. And it was just heartbreaking for them. So they finally make it back to the final. They're hosting. It was a sellout crowd. People were even buying tickets to FanFest to try and get in. And they were just dominant from start to finish. And the tears in their eyes because of what it took for them to get there. The individual stories as well, Jason. And also you start to hear about them afterwards, like even head coach Tommy Wheeldon Jr. Dylan Powley is a former goalkeeper in the league. Tommy Wheeldon had him as well with Calgary Foothills. He tragically passed away this summer in a motorcycle accident at the age of 27. Tommy's father-in-law passed away. And then recently they had to put their dog down. And he's like, Andy, I can't bring this to my team because they deserve this so much to be focused and to win this title. So personally, he's holding in all this stuff. And now finally he's able to grieve and relax. And you're just like, wow, all the things that are going on behind the scenes. But it was an epic game. A lot of people got to see it. So congratulations to Cavalry.
Awesome stuff, Andy. Thanks so much for this. We appreciate it. We'll talk to you next Tuesday.
See ya.
There you go. That's Andy Petrillo joining us from CBC and One Soccer as well. Now, of course, hosting Amazon on the NHL every Monday evening. When we return, we got Dave McCarthy, Struddies by TR, Spec, DVD. We got a loaded Tuesday edition of the Gregor Show on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, and Facebook. But first, let's get to the con man and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by the Alberta GMC dealers. The Canada-wide clearance is on now at GMC. You can get a $7,500 cash credit on a 2024 Sierra 1500 Crew Cab Elevation. See more at gmcoffers.ca.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Game day, the Edmonton Oilers hosting the New York Islanders down at Rogers Place Puck Drop just after 7 o'clock. Our pregame coverage with Andrew Walker and Donovan Paulson gets going at 6, immediately following the Jason Gregor Show. Elsewhere around the NHL, you got the Sens and the Maple Leafs. The Rangers host the 14-1 Winnipeg Jets. Devils in Florida to battle the Panthers. Blues host the Bruins. Flames in Vancouver. And the Kraken hosting the Blue Jackets. Off the ice, the Anaheim Ducks will place veteran goaltender James Reimer on waivers. The 36-year-old goalie is in his first season with the Ducks. He's got a 4.5 goals against average with an .864 save percentage. Also today, the Winnipeg Jets claiming goaltender Kaapo Kähkönen off waivers from the Colorado Avalanche. All announcing the team has placed defenseman Logan Stanley on the IR retroactive to November 9th with an undisclosed injury. And Toronto Maple Leafs defenseman Matt Benning cleared waivers yesterday. With that, he's being assigned to the AHL's Toronto Marlies. In the association tonight, you've got the Raptors taking on the Bucks, Suns, and Jazz. Warriors host the Mavs. Timberwolves taking on the Trailblazers. The Heat in Detroit, and the Celtics up against the Atlanta Hawks. Coming up in hour number 2 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by Dave McCarthy of Sirius XM and Paul Sir, host of the Basketball Show. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
Hockey is back, and Play Alberta, Alberta's #1 sportsbook and official partner of the Edmonton Oilers, has you covered with bigger offers, boosted odds, live betting, player props, and more. New to Play Alberta? New players now receive $200 in free bets just for signing up. You already play? Get a $10 free bet for every $100 you bet. Every week, all season long. Visit playalberta.ca and make your picks today. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
Raise a smoothie to any friend you've had since 1999. That's a good friend. And Booster Juice was there. Now celebrating 25 years in Canada and more than 450 locations from coast to coast. A silver anniversary splashed with lots of oranges. Celebrate 25 years of Booster Juice with the return of OG favorite smoothies like the Orangesicle, the Marathon, and the Original, made with oranges, bananas, strawberries, strawberry sorbet, and probiotic yogurt. Happy 25th Booster Juice. Download the Booster Rewards app today.
Get early access to real Black Friday prices now at The Brick. Save up to 65% off select sofas when you buy the matching love seat or chair. Up to 25% off bedroom and dining room furniture. Plus, save up to $700 off a big screen TV and get free shipping on TVs over 50 inches. Find 40% off mattresses and next day delivery on in-stock beds. Plus, save 3 times the tax when you buy 2 or more Samsung major kitchen appliances. Find a lower price before the end of the year and The Brick will refund the difference. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
Bringing every project to life requires the right team. By joining the Japa Machinery Group service or sales teams, you can be part of setting a new industry standard. Celebrating a legacy of excellence with Japa. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
Oodle Noodle origins. In 1864, Francis Oodle took over his dying father's business as a leatherman. He was quite proficient, but his heart was never truly in the trade. After his father's death, Oodle met a cocksure young man named Vladimir Nudel, who was a trailblazer in the popular new art of food boxes. They formed a partnership and aimed to ply their trade in the new world. At Ellis Island, Nudel was renamed David Noodle, and henceforth, the franchise has been known as Oodle Noodle.
Experience more at the Edmonton Expo Center. Come for Canada's largest trade show, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. Stay for the experience. But it doesn't end there. Maximize your brand exposure with Edmonton Expo Center's new cutting-edge feature screens, spanning Western Canada's largest venue space. Captivate an annual audience of over 1 million visitors during iconic events like Pro Rodeo, Disney on Ice, Glow, K-Days, and so much more. To learn more, call 780-660-0514 or visit edmontonexpocenter.com today.
Change a child's life while enriching yours. Big Brothers Big Sisters needs caring individuals like you. Volunteer your time or make a donation at bigbrothersbigsisters.ca. Help us empower potential in kids.
In a world where every day is a battle against time, elements, and gravity, one ally has stood strong for over 50 years. Titan Supply. In the harshest conditions, against relentless deadlines and overwhelming tasks, they equip you and help keep you working safely. lifting, digging, or hauling. Gear up for the everyday battle with Titan Supply. Still standing strong in Edmonton, Grand Prairie, Red Deer, and Calgary. Or online at titansupply.ca.
Lift, dig, haul.
This hour brought to you by Culligan. For all of your residential water needs, your local water treatment company, more than just big bottles, Culligan.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
No TR. Just after 3 o'clock. How are you? Welcome back. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley with you on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube and Facebook. As always, it's a Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. And lots going on in the world of sports. Thanks for joining us. It's also, hey, remember, it's Tuesday. Lotto Max, $60 million. That's right, 60. Get your tickets, playalberta.ca, up until 8:30 Mountain Time tonight. So you have some time, but you can get them at playalberta.ca. Oilers hosting the New York Islanders, and after a 7-3 drubbing against the Vancouver Canucks, can the Oilers offense continue? Their power play, easily the best game they've had. I know they only went 1 for 3, but still it's 33%. Nugent Hopkins got robbed on one power play. That should be in a goal. Like, you got to bury that. I'm sorry. That's a play. You got to bury that. Goalie's down and out. Get it up. We've talked about that some missed opportunities by not being able to erase the puck has been a little bit of an issue for the Oilers this season. But they got a lot of guys who scored and got points. Draisaitl continues to score. He's on pace for 50 again. He had his 10th of the season. Corey Perry scores. Janmark had 3 assists. Derek Ryan had his first point of the year. You know, Arvidsson scored again. Brett Kulak chipped in another goal and an assist. Ty Emberson had his first assist of the season. So there's lots of guys that you would think, Connor Brown, 2 goals, that they would come in tonight feeling a little bit better, a little bit more pep in their step. And if you don't believe me, let's go to In the Room, brought to you by Action Electrical, where you can take action on your savings right now. Did you know the government, you can get on a commercial building, you can get a significant rebate, or 30%. So if you thought about doing solar, now's the time to do it. Action can tell you how to get all the best savings at actionelectrical.net. And here's Brett Kulak. So Brett Kulak comes into this game. This is game 16 on the season. Brett Kulak, his career high is 6 goals in a season. 6. And that happened with the Montreal Canadiens back in 2018 and 19. His career high in points was 21, and that happened split between Montreal and Edmonton. He came into Edmonton that year. He had 8 points in the first 18 games as a member of the Oilers. Down the stretch of the trade deadline, he had 13 in Montreal, so that gave him 21 points that season. He's already got 6 and 15. Right, so he's on pace to crush his personal best in goals and in points. And, this was fresh off Kulak. Maybe you didn't notice, but Kulak last year in the playoffs, 8 points in 25 games. Not bad production for a guy who's not on the power play. Right, kind of your third pair. This year he's been playing third pair, second pair, left defense, right defense. He's doing it all. And I just asked about, the confidence factor for even a guy like Brett Kulak. You get a few goals and all of a sudden you're feeling a little good about yourself.
Yeah, I think so. Like you say, when you're scoring goals, it feels better, easier to have confidence. You're helping the team win, and you're doing good personally, and there's a lot to feel good about. And it's funny when you go, I've gone long stretches in my career without scoring one. It feels like you're never going to put one in. And, now when I've scored a few early in the season, it feels like I'm going to be disappointed if I don't score tonight type of thing. So, scoring goals is kind of a funny mentality like that for sure. But up until this point, pretty happy with my game. A couple things you always want to work on and improve and get better at. And I think it's just, for me, not getting comfortable and trying to push for more every day.
You've played more right side this year than you ever have at any point. I know you did it a little bit late last year. How's that adjustment going in game?
It's been fun. It was I've done it now, I don't know, 6-7 games or so, and any way you can get more ice time is awesome. It gets you in the game more, gets you involved, and bouncing left and right, it's kind of something you just get used to, right? And then after a few games, you're not even thinking about it anymore. You're just going out there, and it's just kind of, you got your habits, and your body kind of knows what to do. And so it's been a case of that anyways, just repetition.
Have you found, is there a benefit at all? What's the advantage for being a lefty when you play the right side?
For me, I think it's nice going back on pucks dumped in my corner, because you're always grabbing stuff on your forehand, and whereas if you're on the left side and you pivot back and go get one in your own corner, you're likely heading towards the net, and you're on your backhand. So that's a huge bonus. And then in the O-zone, lots of times you're picking the puck up with your backhand, but if you can get it to your forehand quick, you see the whole zone really clearly. Left side, sometimes you're a little guarded by your right shoulder when you get the puck on the left side of the blue line. So those are good things. It takes an extra second to get it to your forehand for sure, as opposed to just being there right away. But if you can do that, it feels good. You can walk the line and just see the whole zone, and you're on your forehand the whole time skating forwards.
The most consistent part of your team's game through 15 has really been your 5-on-5 defensive play. Hasn't been great, but it's been above average, and it's been fairly solid. Special teams obviously below the standard. 5-on-5 scoring up until last game wasn't where you wanted to be as well. What have you liked from your team defending 5-on-5, and does that maybe give you confidence that the other elements will catch up?
Yeah, I think it's good. I think for the most part, we've been making it hard for teams to put the puck in our net. For whatever reason, we've had lots of bounces not go our way, and those things happen, and hopefully we just get those out of the way earlier in the season. And but yeah, I think we're skating good, and I think our communication has taken another step, which is important. Talking to each other on the ice, it's something everybody can do, and everyone's kind of tried to work and just be more mindful and better at that.
Going back to your goal scoring prowess early on, so you're on pace to be a 20-goal scorer, and I'm not saying that is what's going to end up happening, but Connor McDavid's 5 points shy of 1,000, and you talk about how for you scoring points isn't really what you gauge yourself by all the time. It's obviously a nice bonus, but when you see how it kind of gives you that extra juice, what do you think about a guy who's only in year 10 and is going to get 1,000 points sometime this week?
Yeah, it's unbelievable, but his career and my career have been a lot different. But for me, I score a couple early in the season. I'm like, holy smokes, these guys who are scoring 50 goals a year. It's like, wow, they must just be feeling great every year, So sometimes it's hard to get confidence when you go 35, 40 games without a goal. You gotta find other ways to feel good about your game out there for sure. But for him being 5 points away, it's amazing, and he's obviously a special player, and I think we're all lucky to be around it every day.
Yeah, so that's right. Connor McDavid, 995 points. Tonight is his career game 658. And to put that in perspective, Sidney Crosby needed 757 games to get to 1,000. McDavid, whether it's tonight, Thursday, Saturday, I think it's the next 3 games for sure that he's going to get 5 points. I won't be surprised at all to see him do that. And so at the most, it'd probably be game 660, it looks like, for Connor McDavid to get to 1,000. Only Mike Bossy in 656, Mario Lemieux 513, and then Gretzky 424 have done it faster. Always my favorite stat on Gretzky. He was the quickest to 1,000, 424 games, and then the second quickest technically because he went from 0.1001 to 0.2000 in 433 games. Nuts. So think about that. He had 2,000 points in his first 857 games. 2,000 points in 857 games. No other player in the history of the game has scored 2,000 points. He did it in 857. It's crazy to think about. Crazy. But McDavid, 1,000 points is on the horizon this week. Leon Draisaitl is most likely going to hit his 1,000 point next season at some point. And, those two guys are, obviously McDavid's in the top 4 or 5. Now, Draisaitl played those 37 games. That kind of screws him over. You remember those first 37 games? He should have been back in junior. We all know it. But either way, you know what? Take out the 9 points in the 37 games, and his average would be a lot more. But, Brett Kulak even talked about how for a guy like him who's, hey, you know what? Even though that's not his role, you score. And I like what he said. Geez, if I don't score, I'm going to be disappointed. Like, it is weird how it's suddenly you get a few goals. You're, well, I should score. Right? If I feel good. And then all of a sudden, if you don't, you feel disappointed. Well, a guy who scores that many goals, all of a sudden they go 5 or 6 games. I can't imagine how it impacts them. But it impacts guys who shouldn't score when all of a sudden they're scoring, getting excited. So you look at Kulak, I think he's been one of the best Oiler players all season long. You look at his shot for percentage, 5-on-5. You know what? He's been excellent there. Every element of his game is going well. So nowhere to complain about him and how he's played this season, which is a huge boost for the Oilers. And they'll need a few other guys to get hot that are maybe unexpected. Right? They really could use Podkolzin to get a goal here. He's played well, but he hasn't scored in 35 games. Maybe 36. So, no, 35 he's gone without it. So if he scores tonight, that'd be his first goal in 36 games. And it would be huge for him. Make no mistake about it. It would be huge for him to get a goal. So we'll see where that goes. 833-401-1440. Hey, boys, I'd love to see McDavid get 5 tonight to go with 1,000. Well, it wouldn't be completely unexpected, would it? Maybe a little bit. For sure, 5 points is something. Now, McKinnon's had a 5-point game this season. He had a 4-point game as well. McDavid's had quite a few of them in his career. So I wouldn't rule it out by any stretch of the imagination, but 5-point games are still rather hard to do. Make no mistake. But you know what? I'll say this. I think he would, it's funny. He's either going to do it at home or on the road in Toronto. I get, you know what? I'm sure if you asked McDavid, if he had a choice, he'd rather do it in front of the Oiler fans because they're the ones who cheer him on all the time. Toronto would probably be the second choice because, you know what? That's where he grew up. I understand it. But I'm sure if you asked him where he would want to get 0.1000 be tonight or Thursday night. And when I look at the order, I see no reason why I can't. Can he get 3 points in one game and 2 points in another one? Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised by that at all. So it would be something. And the other thing is, the Oilers got to get going here on home ice. They've been very, very pedestrian. 2-5-1. They got the fewest goals. They're not even averaging 2 goals a game on home ice. 15 goals in 8 games. It's brutal. And 8 of those goals came in 2 games. So, right, they got 7 goals in their other 6 home games. Not good. Not good at all. So, we'll see if they can get going tonight offensively and get on a little bit of a winning streak and start to climb the standings in the NHL. A victory tonight would move them into a tie with Vancouver, I guess, depending on what Vancouver does. It would also move them ahead of both Colorado and Utah and would put them into the second wild card spot. So we'll see. Quick break. When we return, Dave McCarthy will join us. We got Strudwick coming up, TR and more on the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Also lots of text, 833-401-1440 in our E-Well inbox.
Legacy Heating and Cooling jingle auditions. Take one for Gene Principe. Are you ready, Gene?
Ready. I'm not just here to make a thermo a couple of bucks. I'd never just microphone it in.
Take one.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
Nice.
Boom. I'm a musical genius.
Legacy's going to love this for furnace season.
What's not to love with no interest and no Principe payments for 1 year?
Are you always like this?
Yep. Unlike a furnace, I have no filter.
Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Ain't it beautiful? What does excellence mean to you, and how does it impact your decisions? Friends, it's Carrie Dahl, and I know that at Volvo Cars Edmonton, excellence isn't an option, it's their everything. From customer satisfaction in sales, service, inventory, and retention, they excel in all. Congratulations, Volvo Cars Edmonton, Canada's only 12-time Volvo Excellence Award winners.
Volvo of Edmonton.
Japa Machinery Group knows that XCMG may not roll off the tongue, but Japa's team will help keep your construction jobs rolling on time and on budget with heavy equipment sales and rentals. Visit japamachinery.com to find out more.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need: Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939, we're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Often when I meet people at a party or I'm hanging out at my favorite restaurants, I'll introduce myself and they'll say, "Oh, you're Grant Fedoruk from Leading Edge Physio. What can I do about this sore knee? It's been bugging me for months." First, I was thinking, when I'm out like this, I should just tweet my location so people know where to come for a consultation. But then I thought, I'm spending all this money on advertising Leading Edge. Maybe you could come by one of our clinics. That's where we have the technology and really smart physiotherapists who can give you all the advice and treatment you need. Have your people call my people. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
Get ready to revolutionize your job site with Edmonton Kubota's game-changing compact construction equipment. From mini excavators and skid steers to track loaders, carriers, and utility vehicles, they have a model to fit every need, all powered by legendary Kubota diesel engines. These machines are built for performance and reliability. Transform your work with Edmonton Kubota's top-of-the-line compact equipment. Visit them today and see why they're the name you can trust for power and precision.
At Papa John's, better is our specialty. Try our butter chicken pizza, the meats, the works, garden fresh, and more. Each special in its own way, just like you. With that ooey, gooey, crispy, crunchy taste, fresh, never frozen dough, and quality topping. Special has never tasted better. And so, for a limited time, get any large specialty pizza for just $17.99 with promo code LG1799 at papajohns.ca. Better ingredients, better pizza. Better get you some Papa John's.
Imagine a family get-together where the smiles are as genuine as the conversations. That's the feeling you get at Nisku Ford, a family-owned dealership where finding a new Ford feels just like catching up with old friends. Swing by Nisku Ford today, and we'll show you how to take advantage of November rebates of up to $10,000 or access finance rates as low as 0%. The coffee's on, so drive into Nisku Ford or visit niskuford.ca today. Above expectations.
I have a startling fact. Prostate cancer affects 1 in 6 Alberta men. This could be your brother, son, father, grandfather, or friend. This November, through our Keep It in Alberta campaign, we're raising money to build a new man van, bringing free, life-saving prostate cancer testing directly to Alberta men. Thanks to our partner, the Agate Foundation, every donation will be matched up to $350,000, doubling your impact. Be part of the fight to eliminate advanced prostate cancer. Visit keepitinalberta.ca to donate today.
I'm Rick Showers from No Bull RV, and I want to talk to you about your roof. Actually, I'm talking about the roof on your house. If your roof were to spring a leak, how soon would you want to fix it?
Pretty much the instant you discover it, Rick.
That's right, Bob. The damage it can do to your home is measured in minutes, not weeks. But if you have a leak in your RV while it's stored away for the winter, this can lead to catastrophic problems because you wouldn't even know what's happened until spring with months of damage already done.
Manufacturers recommend a roof assessment at least every year.
Right again, Bob. That's why Noble RV offers free roof assessments every fall. We'll climb up there and check the condition of your RV's roof and give you a detailed report in writing. That way, you'll know if your RV is ready for another harsh northern Alberta winter. It's a free service we provide, and it could save you thousands in repair costs down the road.
And that's Noble.
NobleRV.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Leading Edge Physio. The team at Old Strathcona has special training dedicated to reducing the impact of cancer care before, during, and after your diagnosis, from lymphedema to the management of fatigue and side effects of chemotherapy and radiation. They can help. Learn more at leadingedgephysio.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
3:25. Welcome back. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley on a busy Tuesday afternoon. By the way, hope you took time yesterday to remember those who made the ultimate sacrifice and those who were able to come back from multiple different wars, and those who are still in the military today that working over and allowing our country to be a democracy, which is very important. You might, have the benefit of disagreeing and saying, hey, you know what? I don't like this government. I don't like that government. You're able to voice your opinion without, going to jail, right? Which is fantastic. And we have lots of other freedoms that are great. And also Department of Education, which is pretty nice to have. So there you go. Now, we'll get to Dave McCarthy in a second, but do you want to go to the game tonight? Courtesy of our friend Dr. Wang at On the Rocks. So in honor of that, very simple. So this will be very easy. If you're a longtime listener of the show, you can text in the correct answer. Now, here's the only caveat. To pick up your tickets, these are old school tickets. They're actual tickets you get in your hand, not on your phone. So if you want to go, you'll have to go. If you win, you have to go pick up your tickets, which is no big deal because you're going downtown to the game anyway. Just going to OTR on Jasper Ave on 121st. You need to pick up your tickets in person. Okay? So just let you know. That's the rule. So A, can you pick them up? And B, can you go to the game? 7:00 start tonight against the New York Islanders. So if you can do both, then be sure to text in your answer. 833-401-1440. It's a two-parter. A, what is Struddy's favorite shooter that we would have when we did it on the show it On the Rocks? And B, what was the food that Struddy always had to order? The shot and the food. If you get both correct, text in with your name, and you could be the winner. 833-401-1440. 833-401-1440. A pair of seats to tonight's game, courtesy of Dr. Wang at OTR. So I need the shooter and what was the food when Struddy? We did our show there for years, and Struddy was always ordering this. He loved it. 833-401-1440. All right, so good luck. We're going to get to Paul Sir first, and then we'll get to Dave McCarthy. I love moving on the fly. Hey, that's what you have to do, right? You got to be able to move around. As Paul Sir joins us now, of course, a host of the basketball show, which is coming up right away here on back on Sports 1440. I can't wait. Paul, how you doing?
Doing okay, Jason. Just got back from the lovely beaches of Hawaii, so got a little sun, had a lot of fun, and love what's going on in the NBA, so things are good.
Oh, yeah. Well, hey, let's start. So I guess the question, Paul, what will happen first? You'll be back on air or the Cavaliers will lose?
Right now, it looks like I'll be back on air first. They are just what a surprise. I mean, they are the story, I think, in the NBA right now, among many interesting storylines, but 12-0. And what I like about their victories, Jason, is that it's not like they're beating all sub-500 teams. They're beating good teams, and they're beating weak teams. They're beating all the teams they should beat, and they're beating teams that a lot of people preseason thought they wouldn't beat. So the Cavaliers, we have a snapshot of the season. It's a marathon, as we often say in sport, not a sprint, but certainly a great start on a team that's been well constructed. Another team like OKC, like Denver, and like Minnesota, that's been well constructed.
Well, you look at Cleveland, Paul, and if you go up and down the roster, people be like, well, they shouldn't be 12-0, but they are 12-0, and they're playing very well. The East is terrible outside of them and the Celtics. There's only two teams above 500. We'll get to that in a second. But when you watch this Cavaliers team, what impresses you most, and what makes you believe that, it's more than just a hot start?
Well, they've got their superstars, and they've got their role players, and they're well balanced. I think one of their characteristics as a team in the NBA is they're another team that shows playing big wins. Their bigs are very good, and their bigs change shots, and their bigs make it tough on other teams to score. and that leaves it open for their talented guard backcourt. So it's similar. They don't have anybody like Nikola Jokic, but they're definitely built differently than teams, say, 10 years ago were built. They value long, strong, athletic guys that can play in cases both back to the basket and step out and shoot the three. So I think they have been able to put together a team that can compete on both ends of the court, and they can go 9 deep. And that's been the key in OKC. That's been the key in Denver. That's been the key in Minnesota. The teams I mentioned, you see the teams in the West that are emerging. Again, they share some of those characteristics. But certainly it's been great to see a surprise team, like a LeBron-less Cleveland Cavalier team have this much success early.
Oh, it's fantastic to watch. And, they're even at home and on the road. They're 6-0 in both places, 9-0 in the East, 3-0 against the West. They've got the 76ers tomorrow. Then they've got Chicago. I think it's on Friday. And so a chance to become only the 5th team at 14-0. And maybe then later on, we'll see if they can try to be only the 2nd to go 16-0, which would be crazy. Now, over in the West, there's lots more teams that are competitive. OKC, Phoenix Sun. The Golden State Warriors are 8-2. Are you a believer in that revamped roster?
I don't know if I'm a believer yet. I don't know if they're that good, Jason, but they're certainly much better. And what I like, and it's without Klay Thompson, so they've made a shift. They've gone away from him, and they've built a deep roster. This is, I think, the defining characteristic of Golden State. Their superstar is still, of course, so far, the ageless Steph Curry, who's having a fantastic start to the season. But on different nights, it's different players that are making the impact and making the difference, and they can guard. So they seem like this is a team now that has come through a 2-year adaptation process, trying to find a way to revamp themselves, to redefine themselves. And with some of the key moves that they've made, and then relying on the volatile Draymond Green, who thus far hasn't been thrown out of any game. So that's a plus. The ageless Steph Curry, as I mentioned.
Yeah.
But then you look at some of their other players, they're very good. And they're deep. They're often playing 9, 10, and 11 players a lot. So, do I believe that they'll be top 4? Not yet. They might be, but the West is so deep. And you can see, like, Denver had a bad first couple of weeks. Now, all of a sudden, they're looking like Denver again.
Yeah, no, that's true. Yeah, Denver, I wouldn't count out Denver at all. In the West, they're rolling. What about the Rockets and the Grizzlies?
Another pair of fun teams that have worked really hard at revamping themselves. Ja Morant seems now that if anything keeps him out of games, it will be injuries, not idiocy. So that's a good thing for them. And when he's playing, he's he's back to being very good. Maybe not quite at the level he was at when he was at his very, very best. But they built a deep team. Again, they have some injury issues, but it hasn't slowed them down because they stick to their core plan. They're a defensive-oriented team that shares the ball willingly, and they seem, like they could, through the course of the year, sustain they should have a pretty darn good season. Houston's intriguing because they keep making you want to believe in them, but it also appears that they're not quite there yet. They haven't quite turned that very difficult to turn corner, but they're getting closer and closer, and they're being methodical about it. And if there's anything, Jason, I think in the NBA that has been the wisdom that has finally seems to have taken hold in many franchises is don't try to buy and trade your way into success. You're still going to have to build through the draft, and you're still going to have to build over a period of years. And you're going to have to create a team that genuinely likes to play together and has a great culture if you want success. And the teams that are winning championships have had that kind of success. And the day of the going out to the free agent market and just spending untold tens and tens of millions of dollars trying to buy a championship seems to be less in favor over the longer build.
Paul Sir joins us, host of the basketball show on Sports 1440 every Saturday. Get back for another season here right away. The one big trade had, of course, the Knicks and the Timberwolves, and it's super early, but the Knicks are 4-5, and the Timberwolves are 6-4. Neither team is great, although, hey, 6-4, you'll take it. It's not terrible by any stretch. But what do you make of those two teams post-trade early on?
Well, I don't know what it did for either of them in the end. I still maintain, if I had to pick a winner in that trade, I'd go with Minnesota, because I like DiVincenzo and Randall better than I like Karl Anthony Towns in terms of what he brings to a team. I mean, Towns is doing what he does best. He's scoring 25 points a game.
Yeah.
He just can't guard anything.
Yeah.
And what are the Knicks having problems with? Guarding. They're one of the worst defensive teams in the league. And what is Tom Thibodeau? He's a defensive coach. So the Knicks with Towns are worse on the defensive side of the ball. I don't know yet about the Wolves. I really don't know. Last year, I still kind of scratched my head that they had the number of wins that they had, Jason, even though I am a, shameless Timberwolves fan.
Right.
But I like Randall. He's tough. He scored 21 a game. He rebounds. He defends. I like that. If I'm the Wolves, I prefer that. DiVincenzo, I really like as a guy coming off the bench. Tough, hard-nosed, can shoot the three, defends really well. So for me, the winner's clear. Early in the season, I hope the Knicks turn around because I really like the Knicks. I really like a lot of players on their lineup. But I think, to me, what has Karl Anthony Towns ever really done to be that defensive presence?
Nothing.
That a team that values defense needs. He's always going to be a liability.
Yeah, he's never really done it. If we're just call a spade, right? He just hasn't done it.
100%.
Yeah. So
yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. Like, I don't know if he's capable of doing it. I guess that's my question. Because to me, defending really comes down, though, just a willingness. Like, he must have the ability to defend. He just either doesn't want to do it or he's never been taught how to do it.
Well, coaches are always big on, you can always defend. You can always you control what you can control. Energy, effort, you can always defend. You can always rebound. So I agree with you, Jason. I don't know what his energy level's like. I don't know what his motor's like. And I don't know what his headspace is like on defense. But I do know this. He's really slow on defense. And I think that, to me, is the big problem, is that he is not a vertical player.
Yeah.
He's a lot of NBA players, LeBron included, have kidded him about being a 1950s style player. And he really is. And he's great at it. He's won the 3-point competition. He shoots the ball really well from outside. He's a skilled offensive player. But even in Minnesota, last year it worked, I think, better than anybody expected, probably because of the combination of Towns and Gobert. And New York doesn't have a Gobert behind Towns to make up for the times he gets beat off the dribble.
Yeah, that's fair. It's like he doesn't have the quick twitch muscles defensively.
He doesn't.
No.
He doesn't. And that to me is like that's a big overlook if you're a GM and saying, we're going to bring him in here and he's going to defend in our system.
Yeah.
He's had a lot of years to prove them wrong, and he's not proving them right this year.
Paul, the Raptors weren't expected to be good, and they followed suit. They're 2-9. Obviously, injuries have played a factor, but I argue this is the best thing for it. You might as well have guys banged up and just have a bad season and get the highest pick possible, right? So I'm not surprised by them. What about, though, the Blazers, the Pelicans, and the Jazz? Did you expect those three teams to be this bad out of the gate?
I didn't. I thought the Jazz would be better. They had a better season last year. I don't understand why they're this terrible. Blazers, the Blazers, I can give them a bit of a pass because I think they're in that total rebuild mode. Yeah. And they have drafted some young players with potential. So there seems to be at least some semblance of a methodology there. The team that I cannot give a pass to at all is New Orleans. And yeah, Zion's hurt again. Mm-hmm. But I don't know if it's the culture. I don't know what's missing there. But all of the hype, all of the high expectations of Zion Williamson thus far, in my mind at least, have been he's been a bust. No. And I think he's been a bust partially because of the body type he has, but I think appears, it's more because of his work ethic in the off season and his attitude. He does not exude the attitude that he is determined to be the best basketball player that he can be. And you know what? That happens to a lot of dudes that go to the NBA. They get an unbelievable amount of money. The accolades are all there, and they haven't proven a thing yet. So there are very few Jordans, LeBrons, Birds, those kind of guys that had ability, but also had that desire, that all-encompassing fire to win because they were basketball players first. That seems to be lacking in Zion Williamson, in my opinion. But boy, the Pelicans should be a lot better than they are, and so far they've been just awful.
Yeah. As always, man, appreciate it, Paul. We look forward to the return of the basketball show.
Appreciate it, Jason. And I couldn't agree with you more about the Raptors. This is the year to implode, and we'll see when Scotty comes back if they can win some games. But Grady Dick's improving. That's great to see. Some of the other players are surprisingly good. RJ's having a career year on a very, very bad team, but they just need a draft pick next year that's a difference maker.
Yeah, 100%. Thanks, Paul. Appreciate it.
Take care, Jason. Thank you.
There you go. That's Paul Stern, basketball host of the basketball show here on Sports 1440. When we come back, Dave McCarthy, our regular Tuesday guest, joins us talking all things NHL on the Jason Gregor Show with Connor Halley, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Is back. And Play Alberta, Alberta's #1 sportsbook and official partner of the Edmonton Oilers, has you covered with bigger offers, boosted odds, live betting, player props, and more. New to Play Alberta? New players now receive $200 in free bets just for signing up. You already play? Get a $10 free bet for every $100 you bet. Every week, all season long. Visit playalberta.ca and make your picks today. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
Your furnace is dead. It's time to replace it before winter crushes you. Legacy Heating and Cooling is practically there already.
Yeah, we're working in your basement, doing a replacement. The work is so earnestly building your legacy.
With no payments and no interest for 1 year, you gotta call Legacy. Replacing your dying furnace before it's too late, that's how you build your legacy. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
In 1973, deep in the basement of an Edmonton family home, an elite team of specialized forces came together to form Action Electrical.
Action Electrical Divisions, assemble.
Projects team reporting.
Service team reporting.
Testing team reporting.
Energy team reporting.
Supercharged with skills in their electrical fields and grounded by strong family values. Facing an electrical menace? Call on the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta at actionelectrical.net.
Raise a smoothie to any friend you've had since 1999. That's a good friend. And Booster Juice was there. Now celebrating 25 years in Canada and more than 450 locations from coast to coast. A silver anniversary splashed with lots of oranges. Celebrate 25 years of Booster Juice with the return of OG favorite smoothies like the original, the Orangesicle, and the Marathon. Made with cranberries, bananas, strawberries, orange sorbet, and probiotic yogurt. Happy 25th Booster Juice. Download the Booster Rewards app today.
When it comes to your health, trust Dr. Bryce Henderson for expert care in hip and knee replacements. With years of experience and advanced techniques, Dr. Henderson helps you regain your mobility and quality of life.
Your health is my priority. Let's get you back to doing what you love.
Put your health in the hands of a trusted expert. Book your consultation with Dr. Henderson today. Visit vitalsurgicalspecialist.ca or call 587-391-7864.
The Canada-wide clearance is on at GMC. Get a $7,500 cash credit on 2024 Sierra 1500 Crew Cab elevation models. With Sierra's 13.4-inch diagonal premium GMC infotainment system with Google built-in compatibility, available off-road package with hill descent control, plus an available 3-liter Duramax diesel engine, you can take the road less traveled and try new things, like fishing or whitewater rafting. I should have gone fishing. Ask your GMC dealer for details.
We all live in Canada, right? And we all know it gets cold, right? And every second that ticks by, it gets colder and colder. Well, GS Construction is prepared for that. GS Construction is the group that makes sure all those underground pipes that lead to and away from your home stay flowing. because pipes freeze. You don't want that. So GS Construction has been hard at work as winter approaches, preparing our underground systems to run smoothly. To find out more, visit gsconstruction.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by your Alberta GMC dealers. The Canada-wide clearance is on now at GMC. Get a $7,500 cash credit on a 2024 Sierra 1500 Crew Cab Elevation. See more at gmcoffers.ca.
From puck drop to kickoff, it's the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Welcome back. Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, and Facebook, and X. It's time to go around the NHL, brought to you by McDonald's, where, hey, it's Tuesday. You know what that means? Get the McDonald's app, and you can get the Fan Day deals Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday, where you can get a $4 Big Mac, McChicken, or filet of fish through the app. Only at McDonald's. Tuesday, Thursday, Saturdays. So get that today at McDonald's. Is welcoming Dave McCarthy from Sirius XM as he's getting set to cover the Maple Leafs game tonight as they host the Ottawa Senators tonight. Davey, how you doing?
I'm good, Jason. What's going on, buddy?
Well, there's lots happening, man, in the hockey world. The Jets just can't lose, baby. They are rolling on fire. You got the Panthers winners of 7 in a row, so those are some of the hot teams in the NHL. Then there's the bottom end. It's a little bit different, but I guess give me your thoughts. Like, you know, the Winnipeg Jets, man, this is a great story. They're taking on the Rangers tonight, which is, when was the last time a team was 14-1 and they're the underdog?
Yeah, I mean, that's the wild part about it. Look, with the Jets, this is going to be a great game because they yet another test against a real quality team. They faced one the other day and they handled Dallas quite effectively. Winnipeg did. Now we'll see another quality test in the New York Rangers. Another good goaltending matchup like they had the other day. Ottinger v. Hellebuck. Now it'll be Shturkin v. Hellebuck. So, you know, we'll see what the Jets are made of. You can't ask for them to be playing any better than they are. Defensively, they have been sound. They're scoring really well as a group. It gets really difficult to pinpoint an area of their game that requires attention right now. Now, I had Kevin Cheveldayoff on the brunch a couple of weeks ago when they had gotten off to a good start, and I asked him, could he do it? And he said, well, yes, I can. Because he said, look, it's always a battle to continue to get better as you move on throughout the course of the year. But in saying all that, they can't have played better than they've played to this point. And so we'll see how they fare against the Rangers tonight at MSG.
Oh, man, it should be a hell of a game, right? The Rangers are very good at home. The Jets are playing great, and it's just, you know, the greatest start in the history of the league, 14-1, which is pretty impressive.
A little bit. Like, I would have thought the Oilers in the 80s would have gone like 17 out of 10 or whatever.
They went 12-0-3, right? Back when there were ties. No, all right. So you wonder if was there overtime? I haven't even looked how many the Jets won in OT or not, but yeah, they went undefeated in 15. That was the longest undefeated streak to start a season. But you know what? There's been some heck. Look what the Boston Bruins did a few years ago. Greatest regular season ever. They didn't go 14-1.
And that's the enigmatic thing about this Winnipeg Jets team. As good as they've started, like, I can't look at them like Colorado, whatever it was 2 or 3 years ago where they won, and they were just a wagon from start to finish that year. And I think we all looked at Colorado as a team where it would be a significant disappointment if they didn't win the cup. You look at the Winnipeg's record, you feel like you should be saying the same thing. But I just can't get myself there yet because they've made a fool out of me, Jason, the last 2 or 3 years in the playoffs when you finally buy in. And they don't even, not that they don't win a cup, they don't even come close, can't even get out of the first round. They look like they forget how to play hockey. So that's why they're such an enigmatic team right now. But nonetheless, a fascinating one to track.
Oh God, yeah. The Jets look like right now, like they've got 11 guys in double digits. 11, all 9 top 9 forwards and Pionk and Morrissey on the blue line. Like, are you kidding me? That is ridiculous scoring depth.
It is, and that's why I say you got depth all over the lineup. Guys are scoring, and yet you've got a guy in between the pipes right now that legitimately you can bring up a debate as to whether or not he should be getting Hart Trophy consideration. Now I know it's early. But he's been that good, and he has been so good that you can't bring that up and be laughed at. It's a perfectly reasonable thing to suggest at this point in time. He's been that good.
Yeah, no, it's totally fair. Dave McCarthy from Sirius XM joins us. Dave, I've heard through rumblings in Buffalo that maybe management there is ready to make a deal. The Anaheim Ducks potentially. You look at Ottawa and. I've heard a few people kind of down on Owen Power, and I'm like, oh my goodness, if that's the case and that's a player that ends up getting moved, I'm always stunned by how many teams historically will give up on young defensemen a little bit too early.
I think that's silly. What is he, 20, 21?
Yes.
Like, come on, this guy. Remember when Victor Hedman came into the league his first 2.5, 3 years? He didn't look like Victor Hedman yet, but he certainly turned out to be Victor Hedman, if you understand the point that I'm making. In other words, far too early to move on a guy like Owen Power. I think that would be foolish. If they need to make other moves, I can understand that. But Owen Power would not be among the guys that I would consider moving in Buffalo.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, that was unreal. Looking at a few other teams, Davey. We've talked about the ones at the top. We can maybe go to the bottom. The Montreal Canadiens did get that big win in Buffalo the other day, but honestly, they're not very good. They got no defensive structure, Dave. None. Like, I watched them. They're a tire fire in their own zone.
I watched them up close and personal on Saturday night when they were in town, and we all collectively were looking at ourselves in the press box, being like, "The hell are we watching here? Like, is this a beer league game?" Because quite honestly, that's how they defend. Like, Lane Hudson, I get it. He can move the puck. But I always ask, when you're talking about young defensemen, you're getting all frisky. I say, okay, yeah, can he defend? And I don't know what the hell he was doing on William Nylander's goal the other night. He turns his feet into the corner. And he walks right down the middle of the ice and scores. Willie almost looked sheepish that it was so easy. And that was just one example. Collectively as a group, they cannot defend. And I don't know if that's personnel. I don't know if that's strategy, if that's schematics. But at this point in time, if you're the Montreal Canadiens, you could not reasonably have expected to be a playoff team this year. But you've got enough guys that have been around long enough now, like Suzuki, like Caulfield. They've got some veterans on that group, to where you have to ask yourself, like, what do we got here? Shouldn't we be at the point where we're starting to move forward, at least play some meaningful games into the second half of the year? That's where they should be at, as far as I'm concerned. But the way they're playing defensively right now, they are a long, long way from that.
Yeah, no question about it. So I look at a few other things, Dave, around the league, and I'm very curious. We're hearing Demko might be back by the end of the month, so that's good news for them. I'm still on the watch very closely in Detroit. And you know what? They're a team that they started bad, then they got a few wins. Now they've lost 2 in a row again. They're back to 7th place in that division. It's super tight. But if they don't get going here, Dave, by the end of the month, I wonder if Steve Yzerman makes a coaching change.
That'd be interesting. It's funny you should bring that up. When they were in town on Friday night, they were looking to tie the game in the final couple of minutes. And they had possession in the leave zone with about 2:15 left. And we're, again, looking at each other in the press box. How come Cam Talbot's not going to the bench? why is he not going? They got like now is the time.
Yeah.
And then after the game, Derek Lalonde was asked about it. He said, "Well, our philosophy is the goalie leaves when we break out." Okay, well, they tried that and it broke down, and John Tavares was given a gift goal into the empty net. It was just a bad look. So I can understand why they might be at the point where they're starting to look down that road. But I also look at that roster, and look, I picked Detroit to finish last in the Atlantic Division coming into the year in August.
Yeah,
they do not impress me at all. They cannot score. And what they have is a group of good players, if not very good players, but all guys that are playing probably a slot higher in the lineup than where they should be if the team that they're on wants to be good. And so when you're in a situation like that, what you end up with is a team that is mid in every sense of the word. Maybe they hang in, maybe they scrape and claw and scrounge for a playoff spot. But given how long they have been a team that has not contended and gone through this rebuild process, you'd like to have some pieces where you can identify and say, okay, we're really on the verge of something right now. Does anybody look at Detroit and think they're on the verge of turning into a team that's going to open up a window of contention for the next 6 to 8 years? I don't think so at all. So I think collectively there's been fault on a number of fronts in Detroit. Players have underperformed. The coaching staff requires room for improvement. And I think you have to go as far as the manager as well. And what Steve Yzerman has done to rebuild this team, I just don't see how it's going to pay dividends to the extent that they're hoping it will in Detroit, because I'm unimpressed with the group that they have.
Davey, have yourself a great night, and be sure to treat yourself a round of sausage. Okay?
Say that again. How could he legitimately think?
Oh my God,
that was the puzzle. We've heard some beauties on Wheel of Fortune. That was one of the better ones that I've heard.
Well, dude, earlier he missed another obvious one. Like this guy, he was unbelievable failure on Wheel of Fortune. Anybody out there who's listening, just go online. It was give yourself a round of applause was the answer, and his guess was treat yourself a round of sausage. What? First of all, the first word only had 4 letters. It was unbelievably terrible. Oh my God.
I miss Pat Sajak being there.
Yes.
Because when he'd get a brutal response, I remember one a little while ago. It was one that I don't think we can recite on the radio because it was of a, how should we say, provocative nature.
Yeah.
Where it would never have been the puzzle. Obviously, you're not going to say that on TV. That's not going to be the puzzle. And Pat's just like, no.
Yeah. Well, earlier there was one that was staring out at the ocean. He was only missing the R in staring and the H and the, and he guessed the K. And I'm like, oh my God, this guy is unbelievable. So yeah, Will's one of the classic fails I've seen on Wheel of Fortune in quite some time. Davey, great stuff, man. We appreciate it. Enjoy the game tonight.
Okay, buddy.
There you go. That's Dave McCarthy. Yeah, you want to watch it? We might have to put that out there, but. Staring out at the ocean, because the hint was, what are you doing? And then he asked for a K, and I'm like, what? Staking? It's not a word, not in that sense. And TKE is not a word. It was unbelievable. This guy might have been the worst Wheel of Fortune player ever. And you know what would have been funny, Cons? He had just picked a T for $3,500, and there was 4 of them. So he'd just gotten $14,000. All he had to do was say staring out at the ocean. He didn't get it. And then treat yourself a round of sausage. Like, what does that even mean?
Would you like the audio?
Oh, God. Yeah. Here we go.
I'd like to buy a U. Well, you're going to get 3 U's. I'd like to solve the puzzle. Okay, well, let's hear it. Treat yourself a round of sausage. No. I'm sorry, that's not it. Over to Katina.
Oh, and she solves it right away. Like, oh my God. Like, I can see if you're a little bit nervous, but come on, the game's been going on. This was like the first, if that was your first one, maybe. You're all nervous, but come on. The nerves go down. But, oh, Willie, that was a tough look for Will today. He did not fare well. Did not fare well. Congratulations, Con. Who was the winner?
Perry from Beaumont is our winner today.
Perry, the painter from Beaumont. And the correct answer, we got a lot of guesses today. But ones, and Perry was the random winner of the correct. The question was Struddy's favorite shooter, China White, and then his favorite food that he'd always order at OTR. Like, we were there every Wednesday for years, and it was literally like 98% of the time he'd order nachos. He'd come in, I don't think I'm going to have any today. I'm like, yeah, no problem. 45 minutes in, Struddy be, hey, can we get some nachos? He loved them. So, but man, you had a lot of good guesses. A lot of people thought chicken wings. Struddy can't eat chicken wings and talk on the radio. Can't do both. It's impossible. But there was lots of guesses for Burt Reynolds. That's a little too strong for Struddy. He can't handle that. Chicken parm. That's it's a good food, but not for Struddy. Sicilian kiss. That was another one that got a lot of guesses, but no. So congratulations to Perry, and is going to the game tonight, courtesy of Dr. Wang at On the Rocks. Quick break, and we'll return. Let's get to the Con Man and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Fountain Tire. Stop in at Fountain Tire. Now, remember, 7 days of 7 degrees or less, that's the time you want to get in your winter tires changed. And if you're going in to get them changed, you're like, I don't know where to store it. I hate storing it. I don't have room. Well, they will store your summer tires for you. Learn more. Find a location near you at fountaintire.com.
This is the Sports 1440 update.
It's game day. The Edmonton Oilers in action, hosting the New York Islanders down at Rogers Place. Puck drop just after 7 o'clock. We've got pregame coverage for you here on Sports 1440 with Andrew Walker and Donovan Paulson. Immediately following the Jason Gregor Show at 6 o'clock. Elsewhere on the NHL, you got the Sens, the Leafs, the Rangers hosting the 14-1 Jets, Devils in Florida to battle the Panthers. Blues host the Bruins, Flames take on the Canucks, and the Kraken up against the Blue Jackets. Off the ice, the Anaheim Ducks placing goaltender James Reimer on waivers today. Also, the Winnipeg Jets claiming goaltender Capo Kakinen off waivers from the Colorado Avalanche. Meanwhile, the team placed defenseman Logan Stanley on the injured reserve, retroactive to November 9th with the undisclosed injury. Toronto Maple Leafs defenseman Matt Benning cleared waivers. He'll now be assigned to the AHL's Toronto Marlies. In the association tonight, the Toronto Raptors head to Milwaukee, taking on the Bucks in NBA Cup group play. You also have the Sixers and Knicks, the Hornets in Orlando. Pistons host the Heat, the Hawks taking on the Celtics. Jazz welcome the Suns to the Delta Center. The Mavs in Golden State or in San Fran to take on the Warriors, and the Timberwolves up against the Trailblazers. And from the NFL, Shane Waldron has been fired as the Chicago Bears offensive coordinator less than 10 months after being hired for the job. The Bears made the announcement earlier today, one day after head coach Matt Eberflus promised changes and adjustments for the struggling team. Passing game coordinator Thomas Brown has been promoted to offensive coordinator. Coming up in hour 3 of the Jason Gregor Show, we will be joined by Jason Strudwick and Ask 5 Questions. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, Stingray Radio Station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
Well, get ready for a silly hockey fan. Your partner in power just skated onto the ice. EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the power play 24/7, 365. UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking. Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service. Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at EWEL.ca and win that project. Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
At Papa John's, better is our specialty. Try our butter chicken pizza. The meats, the works, garden fresh, and more. Each special in its own way, just like you. With that ooey, gooey, crispy, crunchy taste, fresh, never frozen dough, and quality topping. Special has never tasted better. And so, for a limited time, get any large specialty pizza for just $17.99 with promo code LG1799 at papajohns.ca. Better ingredients, better pizza. Better get you some Papa John's.
Legacy Heating and Cooling Cooling jingle auditions. Take one for Gene Principe. Are you ready, Gene?
Ready? I'm not just here to make a thermo a couple of bucks. I'd never just microphone it in.
Take one.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
Nice.
Boom! I'm a musical genius.
Legacy's going to love this for furnace season.
What's not to love with no interest and no Principe payments for 1 year?
Are you always like this?
Yep, unlike a furnace, I have no filter.
Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Scott McGilvery here, HGTV host and renovation expert. The one upgrade I know homeowners will love: better, fresher Culligan water straight from the tap. Culligan's Aquasential reverse osmosis filtration system takes your water to the next level. With up to 7 stages of filtration and 14 filter options, they're certified to reduce over 90 contaminants. Your tap water is about to get a major upgrade. Safer water that tastes great. Get started with a free in-home water test at Culligan.com. Culligan, water you love.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Weather forecast? Ugh. Savings forecast? Cha-ching. Save up to $225 on a set of 4 select tires, plus a bonus $50 off any service of $150 at Fountain Tire until December 14th. Restrictions apply. Fountain Tire. We're on this road together.
The Nissan All-In Clear Out event is on now, where you can lease or finance select remaining 2024 Rogue from 0.99% for 24 months. Plus, qualified Nissan owners may receive up to $500 in loyalty bonus. Go all in with the Nissan Rogue and enjoy the 1.5-liter VC turbo engine for a perfect balance of power and efficiency. And with standard all-wheel drive, you're ready for wherever the drive takes you. Conditions apply. Quantities limited. See Nissan.ca for details.
Visit your local Edmonton and area Nissan dealer for more information.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Can Torque. We offer sale, rental, repair, and calibration of hydraulic, pneumatic, and battery-powered torque wrenches, stud tensioners, and flange maintenance equipment. Order today at cantorque.com.
Hat tricks, touchdowns, and home runs. Get it all with the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Through Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, and Facebook as the Edmonton Oilers hosting the New York Islanders. Tonight, no lineup changes from the last game for either team, as the Oilers, of course, Stuart Skinner will start. You will have McDavid with Jeff Skinner and Hyman, Draisaitl with Arvidsson and Podkolzin, the Euro line. Then you'll have Nugent Hopkins with Henrique and Brown, Janmark, Perry, and Ryan. Now, keep in mind, last game, if you looked at the McDavid played 243 with Perry and Ryan. They were moving the lines around, even though they were scoring lots. So we'll see what happens tonight as far as the line combinations go. I think you'll see Nugent Hopkins and Skinner move up and down from that first to third line, kind of depending on how things are going. So we'll see. Let's get to Ryan's rant. TR's Tales brought to you by Action Electrical. Take action on your savings right now. If you've all been thinking about solar, well, now's the time to do it. ActionElectrical.net. As we welcome to the show, former NHL first round selection, 2-time author. Of course, he stars in Shoresy and many other TV shows and even some cameos in movies. Currently on tour against some NHL alumni with the Shoresy crew. Terry O'Ryan joins us. TR, how you doing?
Oh, I'm doing great. I'm sitting in Buffalo now. We had a game in Detroit last night. It was the first time the Shoresy cast. Yeah, I mean, we were all cast. It was the first time we've all gotten together to do anything like this other than on the camera in the studio sort of thing, shooting Shoresy. So it was just unbelievable. I really mean that. We use unbelievable and unreal a lot. It's a joke in the show, but this was next level. I mean, there was 7,000 people there and really the love that they showed for us. And not only that, we were playing the Wings alumni. I mean, Mickey Redmond was out there playing. It was a lot of the younger guys, a good mix of Detroit Red Wings, and of course, they'd seen the show, which was really humbling, and a lot of us were huge fans. And I got to see some friends I haven't seen in a long time. I mean, there's a lot to unpack. It was a real dream come true, and for some of our guys, that didn't go beyond junior. I mean, they were a bit overwhelmed, as you'd expect.
Oh God, I would think so. So, who's Buffalo got on their squad?
Buffalo are going to have Andrew Peters. Zenon Konopka is playing. Cordy McCormick. There's going to be Craig Rivet, Rick Vive, Rob Ray. Those are off the top of my head. There's more. It's going to be, it should be an electric atmosphere. We've seeing what we saw yesterday. It'll be tough. It'll be tough to beat it because not that I'm not expecting. I think it's going to be the same hockey love and for Shoresy and communal love for the game itself. What I said yesterday, the amazing thing in such a time of like a political divide, like politics does not come up, which is wild that you can get 7,000 people in a game like hockey where, there's polarizing on a lot of levels. I mean, I love it. You look at each extreme, you would think that there's politics or every open end of politics is probably represented, but no one brings it up. It's just, it's just wanting to share stories about our wonderful game. So there's that level of fun and I guess anticipation and mutual respect and love for our game. I mean, mutual with us and our fans and the teams that we're playing. But outside of that, the game last night, it came down to they won 9-8. Okay, and like it should be. I mean, you're there playing. The alumni are nice enough to play us, and nothing was staged. We played, and it was a fairly. We were not worried, but wondering, what are we going to do? We're going to let them set the tone. We're not going to start dangling guys or anything. It was all, and they played like fairly hard for Shinny, and then basically, and so did we. We matched it. It came down to 9-8, and Shoresy, who's not known for his hands, Jared Kiso in real life, although he's a way better hockey player than people think. Just to make Junior A, you've got to be a decent skater and player. But he made a move off the. He doesn't usually do that. And he made a move off the wing, made his way to the net, and nearly went upstairs with about 10 seconds left to make it 9-9. And he didn't, and it was probably fitting the way it ended, but it was absolutely electric. People loved it. It was so wonderful. They a lot of people asked if it was scripted, and it wasn't.
Now, you're in Buffalo, and the Sabres, obviously, it's a very passionate hockey community. It's 13 years without the playoffs. It has been a long slog, no question for them. You know what? They're not out of it by any stretch of the imagination. They're in it, but kind of clinging. They're just under 500, 7-8-1 again. So not a great start for that team. They just gave up 7 goals to arguably the worst team in the league in Montreal. You sense, even though you're there, Terry, just like that's a huge hockey town, and they got to be frustrated. Like 13 years, you kidding me? That's a long time. Like, I just wonder what's going to happen there in Buffalo if there's any changes coming.
Yeah, I know. You get that sense, right? And we've got Jordan Nolan with us, who played for the Sabres. And I'm going out to meet with Konopka now and Andrew Peters. Yeah, I know that. I think the sense here is similar to Montreal. It's not exact, but it's similar in that I think they thought they'd be a little bit ahead of the curve by this point. I don't think anybody expected that this year they'd win the Stanley Cup, but it's been a long time just stewing in mediocrity at best. So that's definitely the feeling you get here. And trust me, if anything, swaths of the hockey community are interacting with us. And, so whenever you get the fans like from Detroit or Boston or Buffalo or Boston, we're going next, you often get a flavor of the team that you're playing. And yeah, I get the sense that people in Buffalo have, they're ready for their team to take a turn. And if not, I think it's going to they're going to start being more vocal. They sound very frustrated.
Oh God, you'd think so. Like that 13 years, and it's almost like they're in their third rebuild, for goodness sake. So they had Eichel, then they traded him, and they got some decent players, but it hasn't really panned out yet. And a lot of their young guys are making huge money. Like Rasmus Dahlin's making 11 mil, Powers 8, Cousins is 7. Like they got some Tage Thompson, like they got some big contracts there without a lot of success. And so I just wonder, if all of a sudden that leads to impatience by an organization. And I could see that the Sharks could be circling from other organizations now, seeing if they can maybe catch a GM who's a little bit desperate to make a trade.
Yeah, like you said, like you use the term young guys and up and coming, but they're not really that young. They're these guys make good money. Most of them have had their first contracts over with and have moved on, and it's time to start making an impact. If there's anything, I don't really know. It seemed to me when we were in Detroit, who again are mediocre, but I'd been to Joe Louis, but in the Little Caesars Arena, like we went down, we practiced where they did. We used the room right next door. The Pistons were on one side and the Red Wings on the other, and we went through. And look, I know that each team, you're going to be hard pressed to find a bad situation, but the Red Wings was just first class, everything. The room, the practice rink. In the practice rink, for example, which is like attached, it's only red and white. It's just a huge welcome to Detroit. They got their banners from Joe Louis all right there, just red and white, everything. No other, and where you can't go and ski without to the bathroom without passing pictures of Gordie Howe and all the legends and they got so many alumni around that love to be part of it. And Larry Murphy was coaching us, and these guys just live in Detroit. It's not like we just flew them in for the game or something. And there was so many alumni because they love it. And I started to see it. I'm like, no wonder. Sometimes you go like, why did Patty Kane sign in Detroit? They weren't rated to win or anything, but then you start to see, the vibe and the players, and when you start to see the culture in a place, you're like, okay, I'm not really surprised that they get these players that, are sought after by a lot of teams. Now, I don't really know. I can't wait to go down and see Buffalo tomorrow. We saw their rink. We saw their dressing room a couple of years ago when I was here with Chicklets, but there was no players around. I really don't know. But, if I really had worked in hockey and, I wanted to get into running the brass of each team or whatever. I'm not going to be a GM or anything, but if I was, I'd really like to know that first. How do the players feel about the culture or where they're playing? There's got to be a reason that some teams are just not good forever. There's just got to be a reason, So I'm not saying that Buffalo people don't like it here, but I don't know. It's a gritty kind of town. When the Buffalo Sabres were good, they had guys like Barnaby and Ray and Mayday, and I'm not saying everybody had to go out there and fight, but you got to be gritty. If you're going to be that kind of team, and I just don't see it. If Buffalo doesn't match young players making good money that aren't playing with a bit of pizzazz, with a bit of spunk, that doesn't match. So I don't know. Trying to put my finger on it again. I'd love to play in Buffalo, somewhere like this, smaller market. I think you could go anywhere in town and really make an impact on and off the ice in a good way. But I don't know. Like, it really, sometimes you look at these players that are young and they're making a lot of money, and what are you doing? Like, I'm not saying you had to go out there and fight, but block some shots. Dahlin getting a fight in practice. I don't know. For me, which I guess could be good. I just don't see that want that I see in some teams that, you wouldn't really expect it out of. I see a bunch of young players in the NHL. The least I think I'm going to get is people going to war every night. And I don't quite think you see that yet here in Buffalo.
Yeah, I would agree. Terry Ryan joins the Sports 1440. Terry, the Oilers going to Vancouver, and their offense wakes up a little bit. 7 goals against Vancouver. Their power play, they did score 1 out of 3, but Nugent Hopkins got robbed. He should have buried one. Then they did score right after a power play. ended. So, and their puck movement. And there was once, like, they retrieve pucks way better. But, like, I got to think that that's a game that could give their power play some confidence. Say, okay, now we're reminding ourselves what we need to do. Let's go out and do it again. Because if their power play gets rolling and they got some guys scoring 5-on-5, the Oilers' 5-on-5 defense has been fine. We know their penalty kill is terrible. They can't fix everything at once. But if they can start scoring some goals here, it should be pretty easy for them, especially their next two opponents in the Islanders and Nashville, two teams that aren't necessarily blessed offensively.
Yeah, I mean, you hate to look ahead when you're a team and try to count wins when the games haven't happened. But when I agree with what you're saying, like it sometimes it just takes a little bit to get the ball rolling at the beginning of the year. The other thing, I mean, I talked about it a couple times, but if you're the Oilers, though, I get it. It's one thing to have people say, the Stanley Cup final hangover, or, they didn't have much time off. That's true too. But when you come in with expectations, sometimes, your best players need to get on a roll. Not everybody can do that at once. You can list many teams throughout hockey history, sports history, that could probably explain a similar story. But with the Oilers, and I forgot, man. It's been a while. I forgot that game was Saturday night. I did watch that. And it's one thing when you're struggling, like if the puck isn't going in, and you're just not getting chances. I don't know, but at the beginning of the year, closer to, it seemed that they weren't even really getting to those hard areas to score. But from what I saw, especially in the last part of the Vancouver game, that they just seem to have a different confidence about them. And when you get that many good players and good scorers, I'm not only talking about Draisaitl and McDavid, but that pretty much most of the forwards have scored at some point somewhere. When you get those people on the same page, and there's things going on in the room, and you got good leaders, and so I think you can kind of see that that game was a microcosm, especially the last part of, I think, what the Oilers' potential really is out there. And I just thought that even some of the pucks that didn't go in, it just seemed to me like guys were playing with confidence that you were kind of waiting on, and it seemed like a good sign if I was an Oilers fan.
Yeah, well, we had Brett Kulak on, who is off to a great start. He's got 4 goals. His career high is 6. And he even said, he goes, man, I can't imagine how guys who score 40 and 50 goals, he goes, I've only scored 4. I feel great, right? Like he's on pace for 20. Just like, man, they come to the rink, like you feel way more confident. And he's just, now, obviously he's a guy who isn't expected to score a lot, but even for him, it can make a massive difference for a player. And I could imagine the guys who are the 40 or 50, like, they go 6 games without a goal, and it probably feels like 6 months.
Yeah, that's a good point. And you always get a bit of a boost when things like that happen, and I'll tell you something. If you want a story with a great Edmonton hockey player that played in the NHL, one of my real good friends, played in Tri-City with me, Ray Schultz. Ray worked real hard, man. I don't know if anybody thought that he would make the NHL when he came down to our team, and he did. He played for a little bit on the Islanders, and I played with him in Bentley, 2007 and 8. We went to the Allen Cup final. But I'll tell you about Ray. Our coach, Bob Laux, who had a reputation to be, such a demanding coach and so hard to play for. But Bob had respect, man, if you worked hard for him. And I remember we were going into the last period of the last game in my draft year, 94, 95. And I had 48 goals going into the game, and I'd gone like 4 games without scoring, just snake pit. And then I was going in the last period of the last game with 48, and Ray had no goals. And Bob looked at the guys, and he said, I'm going to play Terry and Ray like as much as I possibly can this whole period. I hope you guys are cool with it. I don't see any major numbers that need to be hit. You know what I mean? Like no one was out sitting on 19 goals or anything. So he said, that's it. We're gonna take a timeout. We're really gonna try to get these guys their goals. And sure enough, man, I scored about 7 minutes left, scored a shorthander, and I ended up getting my 50th goal with 28 seconds left in the season. And Sugar Ray came out with us and played forward with Lankow and I, and scored his first goal of the season with about 3 minutes left in the last period. And we were just pumped, more so for Ray than my 50th. All year I was scoring, so I think at some point people expected maybe that to happen. But Ray went out there and scored his first, and it was so great. we started the playoffs just 4 days from then, or 5 days, whatever it was, and we were in riding such a high, because sometimes a goal from somebody that you don't expect, or someone clearly scores or does something that's an achievement, and everybody else can rally around it, where it might only look on Hockey DB like a point, but really it means a whole lot more to the team. And there's been some of those moments early for the Oilers, but I just figured I'd relate my experience to you, featuring a great friend of mine, Ray Schultz.
Well, I can tell you when Podkolzin scores, it'll probably be that way, because he hasn't scored since March of 23. Now, he's only played 35 games, but still, he's actually played pretty well, but he hasn't been able to finish. And at some point, he's going to have to score. Yeah, the other thing, if you're, you got to put it in the net at some point. But I think he will. I really do. I think he's done a lot of good things. And, these things, when I used to get in a funk like this, I just used to go, what's the law of averages here? If I'm getting shots, if I'm getting open, then I got to stop thinking about each individual time. I got to eat, because you start, have a 2-on-1 and you shoot, you're like, oh God, what am I doing? I should have gone high glove. I went low block. If you start doing that, it doesn't work. I just think, if you go out there and eventually by the end of the year, I think the chips will fall where they may. A lot of times you might go 10 or 15 in that situation without scoring much. And then all of a sudden, you get a hat trick, and then, 2 goals in the next 5 games, and you're right back on track. And so I have no idea I have no doubt that he's going to score soon, given what I've seen. TR, enjoy the trip in Buffalo and then into Boston. Is that it, those 3 cities? We're going Buffalo tomorrow, and we're going to Boston on Thursday, and then Toronto Saturday, Chicago Sunday, and then I'm coming out to Black Falls to drop a puck at the Junior A game and support Junior A hockey, and go from there. I might come up and visit Edmonton. Who knows? All right. Well, maybe we'll see you. I'm going to try to anyway. I have something for you here, so yeah, maybe you should come. So, I've been sitting in my office for a long time. I can't ship it to you, so you have to pick it up. Okay. I'll wait on that. Surprise me. All right. But thank you guys. I really appreciate it. And I'll check back in Thursday. I hope I can come on for a little bit longer. All right. There's Terry Ryan. Joins us Tuesday and Thursdays here on Sports 1440. When we come back, Jason Strudwick. They talk about rallying around a guy you don't think is going to score. What about when Struddy scores in the shootout? You saw that reaction? We'll talk about that. Others don't necessarily have one of those yet, but a guy like Podkolzin and a few others to try to get off the schneid can be big early on in a season. As the Oilers, after a 7-goal outburst, they're the lowest scoring team in the NHL on home ice. Can that change tonight? We'll find out on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Use the Gregor code Gregor50, and you'll get a free $50 play at PlayAlberta.ca.
Hockey is back, and Play Alberta, Alberta's #1 sportsbook and official partner of the Edmonton Oilers, has you covered with bigger offers, boosted odds, live betting, player props, and more. New to Play Alberta? New players now receive $200 in free bets just for signing up. You already play? Get a $10 free bet for every $100 you bet. Every week, all season long. Visit PlayAlberta.ca and make your picks today. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
At Papa John's, better is our specialty. Try our butter chicken pizza. The meats, the works, garden fresh, and more. Each special in its own way, just like you. With that ooey, gooey, crispy, crunchy taste, fresh, never frozen dough, and quality topping. Special has never tasted better. And so, for a limited time, get any large specialty pizza for just $17.99 with promo code LG1799 at papajohns.ca. Better ingredients, better pizza. Better get you some Papa John's.
Legacy Heating and Cooling jingle auditions, take 1 for Gene Principe. Are you ready, Gene?
Ready? I'm not just here to make a thermo a couple of bucks. I'd never just microphone it in.
Take 1.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
Nice.
Boom! I'm a musical genius.
Legacy's going to love this for furnace season.
What's not to love? With no interest and no Principe payments for 1 year.
Are you always like this?
Yep. Unlike a furnace, I have no filter.
Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Get early access to real Black Friday prices now at The Brick. Save up to 65% off select sofas when you buy the matching love seat or chair. Up to 25% off bedroom and dining furniture. Plus, save up to $700 off a big screen TV. and get free shipping on TVs over 50 inches. Find 40% off mattresses and next-day delivery on in-stock beds. Plus, save 3 times the tax when you buy 2 or more Samsung major kitchen appliances. Find a lower price before the end of the year, and the Brick will refund the difference. Some exclusions apply. See in store for details.
I take possession of my commercial space in 3 months. I need lighting. I need a fire alarm. I need data. I need a generator. I need panels.
Sounds like a job for the men and women of Action Electrical.
Projects team reporting. We design, build, and construct all the electrical systems for your projects. Need everything to work right? Get the Action Electrical project team on your site.
Facing an electrical menace? Call the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta at actionelectrical.net.
Gateway Toyota treats us like we're precious gems.
Because that's what we are.
Every vehicle purchased from Gateway Toyota includes enrollment into their GEM program. It stands for Gateway Exclusive Membership.
And it gives you 5-year access to over $2,500 in benefits.
Free oil changes.
Free tire and windshield repair.
Free car washes.
Even an annual detailing.
You'll also get special discounts, trade-in bonuses, and referral rewards.
I feel like a gem.
At Gateway Toyota, just off Calgary Trail at Ellerslie Road.
When interest rates are low, that's a good time to buy a vehicle. And 0% means it's a great time to buy. Right now, St. Albert Dodge can set you up with 0% financing on hundreds of vehicles. Virtually all new 2024 models. Jeep Compass, Wrangler, Grand Cherokee, and Wagoneer. 0%. Dodge Durango and Hornet. 0%. Ram 1500, 2500, and 3500 trucks, all as low as 0%. Why pay interest? Head up the trail and see how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
Looking for the perfect spot to unwind? Check out The Ridge Social Eatery St. Albert. The Ridge is a locally owned, upscale neighborhood restaurant offering unbeatable daily features. Open daily at 11:30. Craving something late? Check out their new late night menu from 8 till close. Tuesday is wing night. Come savor The Ridge's perfectly seasoned wings that always hit the spot. And why not pair those wings with a $4 draft pint? Welcoming atmosphere, friendly staff, good times. For more, visit theridgestantalbert.com or social media.
If you change your mind, take a chance on the virgin life. Take a chance, honey, I'm still free.
This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Take a chance on me. That's all I ask you.
4:30. About 2.5 hours away from puck drop. Oilers hosting the New York Islanders tonight. Then the Nashville Predators. The Oilers, 3 meetings against the Preds, all came in a span of a month, all on Thursdays. So there you go. 2 weeks ago, they beat them. 4 weeks ago, they beat them as well. And they'll look to have the sweep on Thursdays against the Predators and try to get on a 3-game winning streak, something that has eluded them so far this season. Let's get to our big guest of the day. Struds On, brought to you by Silent Ice Sports and Entertainment, an innovative market leader. Sports properties, including the Seattle Thunderbirds, the Spruce Grove Saints, the Junior Prospects Hockey League, the Female Super League, and more. That is Silent Ice Sports and Entertainment.
The Jason Gregor Show presents Struds On.
I don't believe in tea bags. I use loose leaf tea. It is so much better than the tea bags. I'll eat tea bags. I'll
Struds On.
I'm not a huge DJ guy. I mean, I guess if you had me a couple glow sticks and a tight white t-shirt that I can get wet, maybe I'd be into it.
Struds On.
There's a lone steakhouse I used to go to down in Kentucky, and they had bowls of peanuts. I wasn't sucking on those ones. You know, I mean, you need to have clean nut. I'm talking about the kind you get in a bag at an Elks game. You know what I mean?
It's time for Struds On.
Oh, Struddy. Love sucking on a good nut. Struddy, how you doing?
Good nuts go a long ways, buddy. Good. I'm good. How are you guys?
Hey, we're good. Very good. Oiler fans a little bit calmer today as a 7-goal outburst. And really outside of maybe a minute 59 in that game against Vancouver, they really controlled that one.
Well, they really look good. And I think the one thing, Brock Besser was out, not to rain on anyone's parade, but, he's a pretty important part of their team. But I think what I liked, Greg's, was their power play. For the first time for quite a while, it looked like they were skating downhill rather than skating uphill all the time on the power play. They had just that look again, right? Where they were aggressive and they were like predators on the ice. So, does that translate to another good game tonight? You hope so, because you look at where they're at in the standings for power play and penalty killing. There's really only one way to go, and that's up. So let's hope they can get that one under a little bit more, looking a little bit more dangerous. But it looked pretty good on Saturday night. I was pretty hopeful about that.
Well, they were retrieving pucks. McDavid and Draisaitl talked about that. That was something that they felt they had to get better at, and they were. I know they only were credited with one. Nugent Hopkins should have scored. And then their first goal of the game came, 3 seconds after the power play? Right. The guy's not even back in it. So I know it's not officially a power play goal, but it's pretty close to one. So it'll just give you some confidence. And now, obviously, the penalty kill is another story. They're still searching for answers there. So I'm sure you've drilled down on it, Struddy, because you took a lot of pride in penalty killing. Like, I watch it, and last year on one unit, you had Darnell Nurse blocking a lot of shots, and the other unit, you had Vinny Desharnais blocking a lot of shots. And this year on either, you don't really have that. Number one, and you just don't have a lot of continuity yet, and right now they probably just don't have a lot of confidence.
No, that's a big one. They're jumping over the boards and they're like, we're not going to stop this, and it reflects in their percentage. They're barely above 50%. Like, it's hard actually to get to the level where you're not 50%. That's really tough to get there, and so you can show that they have no confidence, because there are a lot of same guys, but not all the same players. And blocking shots, there's no doubt it's important because it helps out. But what it does psychologically to the other team is it makes them rethink about what they're doing and or change what their game plan is or the shot they're trying to take. So, they got to figure that out. And the guys that are out there, they have to figure out the lanes. And they talk about the lanes, get in the shooting lane. And it's easy, it's obvious to say, well, it's just in front of the guy. But you have to think about where they're trying to shoot it from. Where's their shot they're trying to get off? And then can I get in front of that area quickly? And then make them alter it and or block it. So I think about Mark Stewart, and last year I was celebrating him as just doing such a good job, and now this year the PK is not as good, and it's hurting them because you start nearly -1 every game.
Oh yeah, like it's huge. Like it's a big issue. They also got a lot of other guys scoring. Struds, I don't know if you heard the interview I had with Brett Kulak in the 3:00 hour today. And, Kulak's got 4 goals already this season. Like the guy's on pace to be over a 20-goal scorer, which obviously he's not going to be. But, he kind of joked about it. It's like, man, like it goes, I don't know how, like what guys felt when they score 40 or 50. I feel unreal. I've only scored 4. It's just like it really kind of, makes a big difference in your overall game. He's like, when I'm going back for pucks now, I'm feeling great.
Confidence is high. Confidence is really high, and he's getting a little more opportunity than he did maybe last year, right? With the way that the D-men have changed, and some guys have come and gone. So he's feeling good about himself, and he's feeling good about his contribution, and they need that. I think if you look at the Oilers as a whole, is there a guy who's done more than we thought he could than Brett Kulak? Like, he is the guy. Look around. Is there anyone else who's exceeding expectations? So I think he's feeling good about himself. It's a kind of a unique rotation they have with him playing with Nurse sometimes and playing with other guys at times, but it seems to be working specifically for Brett Kulak. So skates really well. He's a smart veteran player, and they're going to need him. They need him to continue this pace until other guys kind of find their offensive mojo.
Well, I think with Kulak, and, he said he hadn't played a lot of right defense until now, and he goes, now it's about muscle memory, starting to feel comfortable. I really think, Struddy, that they're going to do this more with Kulak because there's not a lot of right defensemen available. And if Brett Kulak can solve their second pair right defense, that's their guy. And then they'll go out there and look to add a third pair left defender.
And a playoff performer.
Yes.
You think about him. He's I don't want to make him out to be the greatest playoff player of all time, but he doesn't shrink in those big moments. And we've seen him move up. So I think that what you have in him instead of maybe trying to bring someone else in. So yeah, and I played a lot on the right side, and I'm not going to suggest I was as good a skater as Kulak, but I think I was pretty smart. And you start figuring out what is easier and what's harder. Then you try to put yourself in a situation where you take advantage of what's easier, and then try to get out of the ones where it's harder. And in the playoffs, so they kind of figure you out a bit, but it does help by just doing it over and over and over again. And he's such a good skater. Like that overrides so many other issues. You're able to get back to pucks quicker So now you have that extra time to get it to your forehand rather than trying to make a play in your backhand, because there is a temptation all the time when you're on that side to go in your backhand. You want to try to make those forehand plays as much as possible. So his skating really helps him out in that. So of all the guys on the Oilers backhand, he's the one that makes the most sense to me to go on the right side because of that skating ability.
Yeah, no, it's totally fair. And when you have the ability to get yourself into position to make more plays, it makes a massive difference. The Islanders come to town tonight. Struds are banged up, but more importantly, it's their defense core. They've got their entire left side defense is knocked out, and so they've had to change things. Good for the young rookie Isaiah George. Right, he was a fourth rounder in 2022. Struddy. Usually those guys are playing junior for another few years. Here he is in the NHL playing 4 games, but Cholowski and Hutton's their third pair. He's in their second pair with Dobson. Like Mayfield's moving over. He's playing the left side now. Like if you're the Oilers, can you attack a left side in your eyes? Can you make that a game plan?
You can. So you want to think about where the easiest pass through is, and it's on that left side. So, just different ways you can do it. One, if you have to dump it into his corner every time. You want those younger guys going back together, inexperienced guys, because they're more prone to make a mistake or to kind of falter under pressure. So that's number one. Number two, if you're coming up the ice, and I know it because I've seen players do it, especially the top end guys, if they're kind of come through the middle and they see, let's say Strudwick or Pronger, they're like, oh, let's go to Strudwick's side, right? And they choose that side and they wheel over. Now they attack that. And the wingers will know, hey, we're trying to attack this guy, maybe create a 2-on-1 or whatever the case may be on that side. So you can do it. And then I would definitely say any other time on the ice in their own zone, whether it's penalty kill or, I guess power play, not as much, but you want to put pressure on them. Make them make a choice quick because they're used to a certain amount of time. And now in the NHL, they have less time and we ratchet that up even more. So those are the 3 things you can do. And it does make it hard. Now, how do you counteract that for your young D-man? You get back to Bucks quick and you make the place as quick as you can. Get it off your stick so that now they can't take advantage of your relative inexperience.
Yeah, well, and that's going to be the key for Edmonton tonight. And I think the 7-goal outburst, Struddy, you have a few guys that are just going to exhale a little bit. They'll play a little bit better. Yeah. You talked about the power play. And more importantly, home ice. Edmonton, when they started terrible at home last year, they were 1-5. And then after that, they won 27 of their final 35 home games. They ended up with the second most points in the NHL at home with 60. Only Colorado had more with 63. Colorado, of course, in the Western Conference the last 3 years, Oilers have the second best home record. Like they've been a good home team. And this year, they're the worst team on home ice. They're 2-5-1. They've scored the fewest goals with only 15 in 8 games. Like they got to get going here in front of their home crowd.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's so much that the home. I just think they haven't been themselves. Like I just think they just are not kind of what we're expecting from them. They're in that fog or whatever you want to call it. So I do think you're right about that Saturday night. I think that helps unlock quite a bit. And then no disrespect to the Islanders or Nashville, but these guys aren't in the top third of the league. So no. I think that they have to come out, the Oilers that is, and assert themselves and assert their dominance on this team early. And kind of get that spark, saying we're too good for these guys. We're going to come out, we're going to put the boots to them tonight, and we're going to put the boots to Nashville next game, and then get it, a little bit above 500 here, and then you kind of do what you have to do. But it felt like last year when they play these teams, it's like, hey, we're going to just come in here, we don't care. We're going to put you out of your misery, and we're going to play hard. And I think do that tonight, especially with some of the injuries they're having. And at the best of times, at the very best, the Islanders aren't exactly a massive offensive juggernaut. So, get to them early, make them feel pressure, try to score early, and they might look somewhere else for points.
Yeah, well, can't hurt. Jason Strudwick joins us. Last one, Struddy. You look to the NFL, and you see there's all the talk. What are they going to do at quarterback? Have you seen enough? Is the Daniel Jones era over?
Oh, man.
In New York.
It was trending. On my Twitter, it was trending, fire the GM and the coach. And I've tried so hard. And what is it? I saw a stat, the last 6 years, or the lowest amount of touchdowns thrown in the first 10 games, something like 4 of the last, the shortest number, 6, is Danny Dimes. So four seasons, he owns the record of the lowest touchdowns thrown before the 10th game or 11th game. Or it was just crazy. Yeah, no, I'm done. I'm done. And Adam Schefter, he's reporting that they're not going to play him anymore. He's going to sit because they don't want him getting hurt and have to worry about that. So he's going to sit now, and then they go to maybe Tommy Cutlets, which obviously will just take us right to the bottom. We don't want to win. We want to lose. We welcome losses. It's a bye week, so we can struggle through a bye week, hopefully get a tie, and then get on after that, and just lose the rest of the way. It doesn't matter. It does not matter. So that's where I'm at. Very negative, Greg.
Or realistic, depends how you want to look at it, Struddy.
Sometimes they're the same.
Yeah, that's true. That is very true. Struddy, have a good one, my man. We'll chat you again soon.
Yeah, looking forward to the game. See you guys.
There you go. That's Jason Strudwick from Got Your Back podcast. I'll come back with 5 questions and more on the Jason Gregor Show. Sports 1440, Orders Nation, YouTube, and Facebook, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Use the promo code Gregor50 and get a free $50 play in the month of November, and also $60 million tonight up for grabs. You have time until 8:30 to get your tickets at PlayAlberta.ca.
A premier hockey solution with a clear path for long-term development is proud to be entering its 8th season of independent borderless hockey, featuring provincial and cross-province competition with showcase-style regular season gameplay and a strong commitment to individual skill development. It's an attractive option for those seeking family life balance. The Hockey Super League offers opportunities for both male and female athletes born between 2012 and 2017. Visit hockeysuperleague.com for more information.
The locks are on a timer. They're going to get out.
Sounds like jobs for the men and women of Action Electrical.
Service team reporting. With the remarkable reach of our bucket trucks and other equipment, we assess, service, and maintain your electrical lighting and automation systems.
Facing an electrical menace? Call the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta at actionelectrical.net.
Mr. Rooter plays a video game.
This is wonderful. A world where a plumber is the hero. My hat is off to you, Mario. Although I personally advise against eating any mushrooms found in a drain pipe. I won't make that mistake twice. All I've got to do now is hop over this Goomba and save the princess. What? No way. I pressed jump.
For a super plumber with an all-time high score, call Mr. Rooter.
Michelle and Colette are sisters. Sisters who don't agree on much, especially when it comes to which hockey team is the best.
Edmonton is the best, baby. Vancouver's #1.
Even when it comes to meat snacks from Wilhawks.
I love the Herrenschwiener. The ham sausage rules.
But they will agree
Wilhawk beef jerky is the best.
it might just be the only thing Alberta hockey fans can agree on.
Others can try to imitate, but no one can duplicate Wilhawk beef jerky. Only available in Leduc. Get yours today, because you don't win friends with salad.
Experience more at the Edmonton Expo Center. Come for Canada's largest trade show, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. Stay for the experience. But it doesn't end there. Maximize your brand exposure with Edmonton Expo Center's new cutting-edge feature screens, spanning Western Canada's largest venue space. Captivate an annual audience of over 1 million visitors during iconic events like Pro Rodeo, Disney on Ice, Glow, K-Days, and so much more. To learn more, call 780-660-0514 or visit EdmontonExpoCenter.com today.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Weather forecast? Ugh. Savings forecast? Cha-ching. Save up to $225 on a set of 4 select tires, plus a bonus $50 off any service of $150 at Fountain Tire until December 14th. Restrictions apply. Fountain Tire. We're on this road together.
A career in the public service is better in Alberta. Better wages, lower taxes. Better job opportunities with our thriving economy. Better chances for advancement. Plus a better future with new investment in healthcare and education. Public service. It's better here. Learn more and discover new career opportunities in the public sector at alberta.ca/betterhere. A message from the Government of Alberta.
Portions of this hour brought to you by eWell. Get your power play amped up with eWell, supplying the City of Champions and Alberta with quality electrical gear since 1975. eWell.ca is your partner in power.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.450. Welcome back. Trade in the NHL today. The Pittsburgh Penguins have traded Lars Eller to Washington for a 2027 third-round pick and a 2025 fifth-rounder. So there you go. Penguins get a fifth and third-round pick, and Lars Eller goes to Washington. He's currently on LTIR. And we'll stay there. Oh no, he isn't. The Capitals though just have some cap space remaining in LTIR with the addition of Lars Eller. So, wow, it's an interesting. Now Lars Eller was there before, so they're bringing him back. I liked what he did. Some guys they play better in certain cities. It's just how it goes. I think we all know that. Let's get to 5 questions now, brought to you by The Brick. Oh baby. Right now, in-store only, you can get up to 60% off clearance appliances plus below-cost scratch and dent items. Black Friday pricing is on. You can save up to $700 on TVs and more at The Brick.
It's time for 5 questions on the Jason Gregor Show.
All right, Jason, question number 1, coming off the 7-goal performance in Vancouver. Let's start off with a bold prediction for tonight and also a score prediction as the Oilers host the Islanders.
Pod Colden ends his slump. He's going to score a goal tonight, and the Oilers are victorious. They give their home crowd a not very stressful evening, which has only happened once out of 8 home starts. So Oilers win 5-2.
All right, I'll take a 4-2 Oilers win, and maybe a bit of our thing we haven't seen too often. Nugent Hopkins 2-point game with a goal. How about that? Goal and an assist in the 4-2 win. Okay. Nuge shows up against the Islanders. Question number 2 for you. We had the Hall of Fame induction last night for the NHL or Hockey Hall of Fame. Carey Price, Duncan Keith, and Zdeno Chara all eligible.
And Joe Thornton.
Are they all locks? And I guess with that, because I think is it 4 players is the most? Does McGillney get snubbed again?
Well, Thornton for sure is a lock for me. I think so is Zdeno Chara. Duncan Keith probably, yep. Who is the 4th one?
Carey Price.
I played Montreal. Yeah. Goalies historically, but he did win an M. Yeah. So those 4 are probably going to go in. Yeah. McGillney will have to wait another year.
Yeah. I mean, he's waited so long anyways. What's another year? I'm with you. I think that that's just the nature of the beast. And you only get 4. Question number 3 for you. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers in a streak of 5 appearances in the Grey Cup. They won the first 2, lost the next 2. Are they a dynasty?
Well, in today's era, you go to 5 consecutive championships. And if they lose this one, no, because then they're bordering on Bills territory. If they win, then they've won 3 of 5, and the 2 losses were by a combined 5 points. Yeah, I would say they probably are.
Yeah, I mean, I want to see a win. If they lock in that win, which right now it's looking pretty good with the situation for the Argos, I'll give it to them. But I want to see that win just to make sure. 3 in 5 years. Pretty impressive, even in a league with fewer teams. Very impressive. Question number 4 for you. What is more impressive? Said that a lot in the last few seconds. The Cavs 12-0 start in the NBA, or the Jets 14-1 start in the NHL.
Well, again, 14-1. Well, I'll still go 12-0 because the Jets never went 12-0. So I will take the 12-0.
Yeah, I'm going to say 14-1. Just because the Cavs could go, 2-2, 2-3 in the next couple games here.
But they won't be. They're going to win.
They're playing good ball. But I'll say the Jets for me personally. And my final question for you on this 5 questions now that Remembrance Day has passed. Are you okay with people getting the Christmas decorations up? Because I don't know if you noticed, but one of our sister stations here is playing Christmas music already, and it just seems a little early for me.
Oh, I don't have a problem if people want to put up their Christmas lights now. I have no issue with it at all. So fire away. People get really excited about it. I don't mind. Like there's in a world of things to get upset about, that's not one for me.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really mind. We'll wait till December. That's just my personal preference. The Christmas music already it's too early for me. Like, I don't know. I just think it's a little early for me to really get into it. Like I'm hearing Frosty the Snowman and it's November 12th.
Well, buddy, wait till Benjamin's old enough. You'll be hearing it all the time, my buddy. I'm just giving you advance warning. And all of a sudden you'll be like, oh, now I don't mind it.
I don't know.
That's just how it goes.
Like last year is the same sort of thing. Like I love Christmas music. I love Christmas. I love the time of year. I love watching Home Alone and all those movies. In December, though.
All right.
I'm a Grinch till then.
You're a Grinch until then?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, there you have it. But I'm just telling you, once young Benjamin, if there's certain Christmas songs he likes, you'll be playing them in June.
Nonstop.
Yeah. It's kind of what happens. So yeah, I don't mind actually, see, I like Christmas decorations. So I like Christmas. People want to put their Christmas lights up and you got a tree. I think it's great. I help out a little bit at our house on the tree, but my wife and son, they kind of have a tradition that they do after school with one of his buddies, and it's always set up, and so that's great. I'm more of the tree taker downer than I am the setter upper. Everybody kind of has roles. That's mine.
On the flip side, when do you take it down?
Like 28th.
Okay,
yeah, it's down. Usually ours is down before. Although this year my son was trying to. I heard him say, "Well, I want it up for New Year's Eve." So, you know what? Like, it's not me. I don't care. I take it, but it's normally my wife. She likes it down really quick. So, because it's been up there for a long time. So I don't get too caught up in it either way. Once it's up, I like looking at it, sit down. You know what? I can have an eggnog, right? Now I'll say this, pre-mixed eggnog, pretty good. I still prefer the spiced rum and eggnog, a good spiced rum. And I find it's better. Do you have a preference, the pre-mix, or you go out and you get the rum and you mix it yourself?
I think you got to mix it yourself.
Yeah, I'm with
you. I don't. Yeah, 100%. Make it yourself.
Yeah,
you control how much you want in there too.
Yeah. So
add some cinnamon, maybe.
Hey, did you see the Jeopardy question that has everybody all fired up? Speaking of things that get you fired up, Hall of Fame goalie Marty Brodeur, known as Satan's Wallpaper, played 21 years with this NHL team. Now, somebody must have called him that because he played for the Devils, right? But Marty Brodeur had to it. I'm not sure anybody ever called. Well, if anybody called him that, I don't ever remember it. But that is like Satan's Wallpaper. Like, I get the Satan reference, but what's wallpaper? Wallpaper's not stopping a puck. You shoot it right through it. It's a terrible second half of a nickname. Any reference to Satan, I could get it. But wallpaper for a goaltender? No. I'm sorry. That's weak. I don't get that one at all.
I had never heard that until I saw that question.
I've never seen it either.
Like, you look up Magic Man, you're going to get Pavel Datsyuk. Great one. Like it's going to happen, but it's kind of I like the nickname though.
You like Satan's Wallpaper?
Yeah.
Really?
It's just like it might not make much sense, but it's okay. Creative. It's outside the box.
That's fair. It's like the human rake. Okay.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. But the human rake, when you describe people like, all right, tall, thin, gap between his teeth. Oh. It's got all the pucks. It's great.
I never knew the gap between the teeth.
Well, the gap
part.
between the teeth is what made it so awesome.
Better than Seaweed Man.
Seaweed Man. That was a classic. Like he's a Marvel comic.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Coming up, Spec will join us. Also, we have a DVD on a busy game day edition. Oilers taking on the New York Islanders. No lineup changes for the Oilers. They'll roll with the same winning lineup that they had in Vancouver. Let's get to the Con Man Sports 1440 update brought to you by Booster Juice. And they are celebrating their 25th anniversary. And how about this? 25 days of giveaways. You got 3 days left. And so you have to put the promo code in. All you do is go and sign up right now at Booster's Reward app. They'll give you the promo code and you're entered for free. Today's prize, a trip to Nashville, 3-night stay, get some tickets to a Predators game if you have things that have a lot of fun. Then tomorrow, it's the Vegas Experience, airfare, 2 nights at the Bellagio, 2 tickets to a Knights game. And then on Thursday, the final day, they're giving away a car. So you might want to sign up right now for the Boosters Reward, and you can win every day. Be sure to enter, go to the rewards, and you can win only at Booster Juice.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go. This is a Sports 1440 update.
Game day, the Oilers hosting the Islanders. Puck drop about 2 hours away down at Rogers Place. Our pregame coverage with Andrew Walker and Donovan Paulson gets going at 6 immediately following the Jason Gregor Show. Elsewhere tonight in the NHL, you got the Leafs and the Sens at 5. The Jets taking on the Rangers. Panthers host the Devils. Bruins in St. Louis. Canucks host the Flames, and the Jackets taking on the Kraken. Off the ice, the Capitals acquiring Lars Eller from the Pittsburgh Penguins for a 2027 third-round pick and a fifth-rounder in 2025. Eller spent 7 seasons with Washington, winning a cup in 2018. The Anaheim Ducks have placed veteran goaltender James Reimer on waivers. The 36-year-old Canadian in his first season with the Ducks, posting a 4.5 goals against average and an .864 save percentage. Also today, the Winnipeg Jets claiming goaltender Kaapo Kähkönen off waivers from the Avalanche. The team also placed defenseman Logan Stanley on the IR retroactive to November 9th with an undisclosed injury. In the association tonight, the Toronto Raptors looking to pick up win number 3 on the season as they're in Milwaukee taking on the Bucks for the NBA Cup group play. You also have the Celtics and the Hawks, the Heat in Detroit, Magic host the Pistons, the Knicks taking on the Sixers, Mavs in San Francisco taking on the Warriors, and the Trailblazers hosting the Timberwolves. And from the NFL, Shane Waldron has been fired by the Chicago Bears. His former offensive coordinator was only with the team for 9-ish months. The team announcing that passing game coordinator Thomas Brown has been promoted to OC. Coming up in hour 4 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by Mark Spector of Rogers Sportsnet and Derek Van Diest of NHL.com. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Ain't it beautiful? The inventory is unprecedented. Volvo Cars Edmonton is proud to boast an amazing selection of in-stock Volvo XC40s, 60s, and 90s. Visit Volvo Cars Edmonton today and experience the exemplary service you've come to expect and the affordable luxury only found with Volvo Cars Edmonton, Canada's only 12-time Volvo Excellence Award winners. Experience the difference.
Volvo of Edmonton.
We've finished construction of our gamma radiation containment facility. Is it up to code? Is it going to be safe?
Sounds like a job for the men and women of Action Electrical.
Testing team reporting. We test your commercial operations using tools like infrared to ensure safe operation. Trust us to prevent potential calamity before it strikes.
Facing an electrical menace? Call the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta at actionelectrical.net.
Get early access to real Black Friday prices now at The Brick. Save up to 65% off select sofas when you buy the matching love seat or chair. Up to 25% off bedroom and dining room furniture. Plus, save up to $700 off a big screen TV and get free shipping on TVs over 50 inches. Find 40% off mattresses and next day delivery on in-stock beds. Plus, save 3 times the tax when you buy 2 or more Samsung major kitchen appliances. Find a lower price before the end of the year and The Brick will refund the difference. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details.
The Canada-wide clearance is on at GMC. Get a $7,500 cash credit on 2024 Sierra 1500 Crew Cab elevation models. With Sierra's 13.4-inch diagonal premium GMC infotainment system with Google built-in compatibility, available off-road package with hill descent control, plus an available 3-liter Duramax diesel engine, you can take the road less traveled and try new things, like fishing or whitewater rafting. I should have gone fishing. Ask your GMC dealer for details.
Need a solid foundation without the fuss? Richard and Kalina at DCL Pile Driving have your back. Locally owned, they offer straight, driven piles. No screwing around. Serving all of Alberta. DCL Pile Driving gets your foundation ready in hours with minimal ground disturbance. Perfect for tight spaces, whether it's for a deck, grain bins, or RTMs. Tell them the radio sent you and receive a special discounted rate. Call or text 587-322-PILE. DCL Pile Driving. Don't get screwed. Get piles driven.
Danny's share, 28,874. Kevin's share, 5,663. Maven and Dave's share, 20,885. Don and Kathy's share, 5,121. Sean and Michelle's share,
Each year, Vision Credit Union returns about 75% of our profits to our members. It's time you got your share. Find out how right now at whatsyourshare.ca. That's whatsyourshare.ca.
$14.40 Oilers Nation YouTube and Facebook, as well as X on Instagram. Thanks as always for listening. Sports1440.ca as well. It is game day, and as always, presented by PlayAlberta.ca, where $60 million, great reason for you to get in the game at PlayAlberta.ca. Also use the promo code Gregor15. You'll get a free $50 play at PlayAlberta.ca. As we get to the Spec Report now, brought to you by GS Construction, where underground infrastructure. That's what they specialize. They're like the Brett Kulak right now. Very important. Don't get a lot of accolades, but can't have success without them. It's GS Construction. As we welcome to the show, Mark Spector joins us. And Spec, you're in Vancouver as the Oilers' offensive explosion happened again on the road. They seem to have more success early on this season on the road, which hasn't been the case for the last few years. They've been a really good team for the last 3 years in the NHL on home ice, except for this season, a slow start. But you get 7 goals, Spec, and lots change. You could just, there's more smiles around the rink today from the players and a little bit looser. And now we'll see if it can carry over to tonight against the Islanders.
Yeah, I think that's how we'll be able to tell. You know, we're starting to see some things of this Oilers team that looks like the Oilers team that, you know, was very good last year, right? They came out of that second period up 3-2 and came out and really took the game over in the third period. It wasn't a fire drill in their end by any means. Connor Brown scores a hard working 4-2 goal. Then that power play comes out. It's 4-2. You got a power play, and the old Oilers teams that we know, they put that game in their pocket on that situation, right? They go out there with a power play. Well, that's what they did. 10 seconds in, McDavid scores. It's game over. So, yeah, I think the next sign of a team that's righted itself is to improve its home record, Jay, is to become the team at home on here at Rogers Place that they've been the last few years. That's the last piece of the puzzle here for now.
Yeah, well, their power play got going. And although their 5-on-5 is good too, but their power play, it's the best it's looked by a mile. Yeah. Every time they were on the power play in that game, it was dangerous.
Yeah, and that's a huge part of this team, man. It's a part of their identity, you know. Some people call them power play reliant. I think that's kind of goofy. I think they just have a really good power play. And when their power play is clicking along at 9 or 10%, that means that things aren't working for them. So, yes, you know, and you can also, Jay, you can have those power plays where you pass it around and get lots of chances and it doesn't go in. That only goes so far, right? They scored effectively 2 power plays in that game. Draisaitl's first goal of the game came 4 seconds after Quinn Hughes got out of the box. Then McDavid scores 10 seconds in to the power play, and the one in between was damn good. So that's the first time we've seen 60 minutes where that power play was all the way back to where it's supposed to be.
Yeah. And, 33%. So that's good. And we'll see if it continues. It was interesting In the game that they had in control for the most part, out about that short stretch where the Canucks scored 2 goals in a short period of time. I think there was 4 goals combined between the two teams in like under 4 minutes. But Knobloch, he was moving lines all over the place. Skinner and Nugent Hopkins kind of split some time as 6 and 5 minutes each with McDavid and Hyman. And then McDavid played like 2:43 with Perry and Ryan. It was kind of unique how he was switching lines all over.
Well, he's pulling the levers here, right? He's just trying to find the right thing. I don't think he was enamored with Jeff Skinner's game. Jeff Skinner played one early shift in the third and then sat a long time before he got back out there. He seems to be the guy that's getting pulled off the lines and other guys are getting put on. So, it's hard to know, Jay, is the coach trying to wake up one guy and by doing so he's got to switch a bunch of stuff around, or is he trying to wake up everybody? Really only the coach can tell you that.
Yeah, that's fair. What did you make of Skinner's game?
Okay. I thought in a game where a bunch of guys, offensive guys, got dangerous, that was, for instance, Victor Arvidsson's best game as an order, in my opinion. I thought Skinner was average. Didn't think he was terrible, but I didn't notice him. Didn't think he was particularly good either. What did you think?
Yeah, I didn't know. I'm looking at his shift chart here right now. He had one shift. It came out like the second shift of the third period, and then he wasn't. The Oilers scored those 3 goals in a span of like 2 minutes, and they had lots of, his line rotation wasn't on, and then he was back out there again. So he didn't sit out for an extended period of time. I think it looks like he was out. He was on the bench for a total of like 4 minutes and 48 seconds, it looks like.
Yeah, well, at the game, certainly Daniel Nugent-Bowman and I kind of looked at each other and said, you seen Jeff Skinner lately? And It seemed like he wasn't in his regular rotation. It seemed like he wasn't playing. But hey, listen, that's hockey. Like they get a bunch of guys going. If you're not going, you shouldn't play. And I didn't see him going I didn't see him going at all in that game. He did not have the puck a lot. He didn't have a bunch of chances. I don't know how many shots on net he had. I barely noticed him. Yeah,
no, that's fair. He was one of the guys who early in the season was actually one of the guys going better, and then in that game he wasn't. It looks like at least he'll start on the line with McDavid and Hyman. Knobloch has shown all the time, like what the lines are to start the game are kind of irrelevant, other than the Draisaitl line. That's the one line that's been pretty consistent, and it's not surprising when you consider those 3 guys, even though they've only played 80 minutes together, 5-on-5 this year, and Draisaitl's played over 200. That they're second, fourth, and fifth in shots for percentage. Like when they're on the ice as a trio or separate, they're out shooting the opposition quite consistently.
Yeah, they've got a good thing there. Like Podkolzin, he's pretty good at winning pucks. He puts the ball on you. Arvidsson wins pucks too a lot, and he does it a little different way. He doesn't come in and knock you over, but he certainly walks in the corner without the puck and often comes out with it. And both guys get that puck to 29 as fast as they can and then try to get open again. So it's a good formula, right? An elite passer with 2 guys who have proven to be pretty good puck retrievers. I don't mind that formula, and so far so good, right? That's been the one stable line in the top 9 here that's really stayed together for a while.
Yeah, no, it's true. It's the only one. It hasn't been together that many games. It just feels like it because the other lines are moving around. Podkolzin's a guy that eventually though has got to score a goal, right? Like you look at it and it's great. I've always said, you play in the top 6 regularly, you got to score. That's just, I don't care about schmots. Shots don't win games. Goals win games. And eventually it's great to do that. But at some point you got to start cashing in.
Well, he's got a big, there's a pretty good left winger rehabbing here, ready to come back. And he's going to fit in this lineup somewhere, Evander Kane, right? He's going to go somewhere. So for Jeff Skinner, for Vasily Podkolzin, whether it's Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, whether it's, whoever's on the left side here, sometimes it's been Henrique even, Vander Kane's going to get back in this lineup, and he's going to push somebody out of some spot somehow, somewhere. So it's a little bit of a musical chairs thing. All these guys, and Podkolzin would be a top candidate here. If he's going to be in the top 6, he better be a good top 6 player by the time Kane walks in the door healthy, because if he's not, someone's going to get their spot taken away from him. Am I not right in saying that, Jay?
Yeah, it's a ways away, right? Like I don't think we're seeing Kane until January. So
okay, so
they
we got a
got
lot of runway, but that runway end at some point.
No, totally fair about that. Yeah, I agree with you there. They got some time to get going for some of those guys, but hey, they miss Evander Kane. I like people talk about McLeod and Fogle and Holloway, and I'm like, I put Evander Kane on the top of the miss list above those four. Not even quite. Like I watched Victor Arvidsson. Like I don't think Victor Arvidsson is any slower than Warren Fogle. I really don't. And the Oilers, I've said it all season long. They weren't losing games because of their team speed. Right. And all the numbers on NHL Edge will back it up. They played slow and they couldn't finish to save their life, even though they kept out shooting everybody. And now they finally get some offense. And I'm very curious to see if they're off. Like if all of a sudden we see, you got the Islanders who can't score to save their life. Like they're one of only 5 teams in league spec who have a worse offense than the Oilers and a worse power play than the Oilers. It's hard to do because the Oilers have struggled in both categories, but there's only a few teams in League 5 who are worse in both, and the Islanders are one of them.
Well, I think the Oilers have been pretty happy. Like all the metrics have been, their scoring chances have been high. Their shot share and their shots on net have been high in the league. Chris Knobloch keeps referring to a statistic that says they have the puck more than anyone in the league, or second place in the league. So, their metrics, they're looking at their offense like it's here. It's just lacking the final finishing touch, putting pucks in the net. And it's the oldest cliche in hockey. If you're getting your chances, eventually they're going to go. I think rubes like me look at shooting percentage. The Oilers shooting percentage is low. It's bound to get higher. So, maybe that's what you see is a little regression against Vancouver. Finally, right? But like that's a 5-2 hockey game disguised as a 7-3 game. Those last 2 goals that Lankinen let in were poor goals. But but eventually the sun shines on your rear end too, and you get a couple shots that aren't supposed to, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you need it for sure. Like eventually you're hoping that you get a few goals that go your way when they've really had very few go their way this year. So yeah, you're right. You'd think eventually sometimes, hey, you just put pucks on net. And right now Brett Kulak's hot, so everything he shoots goes in.
Yeah, the great Brett Kulak, eh?
Oh, but he had a great answer today talking about, he goes, I don't know how those guys who score 40 or 50 goals feel. I feel great, and I've only scored a few. And then he even laughed. He goes, like, it's weird, man. If I don't score tonight, I'll be disappointed. Right. And I loved his honesty, right? I loved his honesty talking about it because it just shows you how a few goals at any level can really change things for a player.
Well, Todd McClellan used to say, nobody gets in their car to drive to the rink and thinks, well, whatever happens tonight, I don't care if I score a goal. Right? Even the heavyweight, even the 6th defenseman, everybody wants to score a goal. So good for Brett, and he's a useful player. Love him as a player. Love him as a guy. He's a local kid. I don't know what more you want in your, a third pairing anchor like him. He gets a few goals. Everyone's happy for him. Hell, the guy used to trick or treat at Glen Hall's farm. That's how local he is. So why wouldn't you cheer for the guy a little bit, right?
Oh God, yeah. Why not? And it's not just that. It's the way he's played. He's played exceptionally well on both ends of the ice.
For sure. Yep.
Mark Spector joins us on Sports 1440 Oilers Nation YouTube and Facebook. Spec, a few other stories around the league. The Winnipeg Jets are rolling. They're 14-1, and it's crazy. They go into New York as an underdog, funny enough, because the Rangers are good, and boom, Scheifele has scored, and they lead 1-0 early on. Like, are the Winnipeg Jets the team in the NHL that the fewest opposing fan bases have a beef against?
Have a beef against? Well, that's a good
right. Like there's lots of fan bases that hate the Oilers and hate other teams. I don't know if anybody really hates the Jets.
Well, they don't have a geographic rival, right? Like Edmonton has Calgary, and I guess Vancouver and Edmonton and Calgary sort of have something going on, but it's never really gone east. Like there's never been an Edmonton-Winnipeg rivalry, right? Back in the heydays, Edmonton just beat them for fun. And really, you're right. I mean, who they're never in our division. So who is their rival? Who's their rival? Is their rival Nashville? Is it Chicago?
Minnesota, probably.
Yeah, people in Chicago and Nashville couldn't even tell you where Winnipeg is. So you're right. No one hates Winnipeg. Winnipeg gets the, how many, I'd like to know how many times do they get a Monday night game on Amazon this year? I'll bet you it's 0, right? How many times do they're in the Central Division, so they don't even get the late game on hockey night ever. They're always in the middle on the whole time zone thing. They're an anonymous team in an anonymous town by NHL standards. And we're going to have to figure out who the Winnipeg Jets are pretty quick here, because they're the best team in the league, and it's starting to not look very close here.
Oh God, no, they're spanking everybody. When they're top 4, like everybody scores right now in Winnipeg. That's what's so mind numbing for me is they got 11 players in double digits in point spec, all top 9 forwards and 2 defensemen.
Yeah, that's crazy. And we've all watched a lot of seasons here. This can't go for 82 games. As good as they are, and my hat's off to them, they're not that good. So
maybe they could be the Boston Bruins. No one thought the Bruins were going to do what they did a few years ago.
You're right. I remember that season, and we all said the same thing. It's got to end sometime. And it never really did end.
And that's how the playoffs, unfortunately for them. Right?
Yeah.
And then I'm sure that's what Jets fans are like. But I'm like, you know what? When to me, you can't worry about, the playoffs. Otherwise, you miss all the fun. If the whole point is to be good in the regular season, right now, the Jets, the mission accomplished. It's the greatest start in NHL history. The greatest. No team has ever went 14-1 ever.
Right.
And it'll probably be a while before another team does it.
Yes, success comes in many forms. And I always think, I never tell a fan how to fan because they pay to get in and I don't. But I always feel like you're right. People are smelling the roses is hard for fans sometimes. And if I'm in Winnipeg, there hasn't been a lot of NHL success in Winnipeg, man. It's been the school of hard knocks in that town. Enjoy this stuff. Your team's winning. You got a big streak going. You're setting records. Who cares? The playoffs don't start for 4 months, man. Enjoy the run. Have some fun. Put it in other fans' faces a little bit and smell the roses once in a while. Stuff like this doesn't come along every day.
Yeah, it's very true. Mark Spector joins us, Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube and Facebook. Spec, what about the Canucks? You're in Vancouver, and how concerned are they about Elias Pettersson?
Well, I think quite concerned. They've got the whole organization working on this guy, from Rick Tocchet to the players. They've got, Miller is sort of responsible for getting his compete level up. And, they're in a big, long contract with this guy. What's he making? 11.5.
Mm-hmm.
That's giant money, right?
God, yeah.
And what's he got? 3, I think, even strength goals since March of last year. So, no, it's not great. And you can't be, he seems to me to be a bit of a shrinking violet. He's not looking at the media who's coming at him and basically saying, F you guys, I can't, I'm not going to put up with this garbage from you media guys. He's kind of wilting a little bit. He's going into a shell, and I don't love that from a public perspective. He played well the other night. He's okay, but I don't know. I don't see what we thought we were going to see yet. And that's got the Canucks worried, because I guarantee we all watch Rick Tocchet play, and we know how Rick Tocchet expects a superstar to play. And there's got to be, he wants will, and he wants pushback, and he wants maximum, a guy that won't be denied. And they're looking for that inside Elias Pettersson right now.
Yeah. Mark Spector joined us. Spec, have yourself a good one. We will see you at the rink tonight. Islanders and Oilers. We'll see if the Oilers offense can continue to roll a little.
All right. Sounds good, Jay.
That's Mark Spector, the Spector Board, brought to you by GS Construction. When we return, Derek Van Diest will join us. We'll talk some hockey, even sprinkle in a little bit of soccer with you on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Back and Play Alberta, Alberta's #1 sportsbook and official partner of the Edmonton Oilers, has you covered with bigger offers, boosted odds, live betting, player props, and more. New to Play Alberta, new players now receive $200 in free bets just for signing up. You already play? Get a $10 free bet for every $100 you bet every week all season long. Visit playalberta.ca and make your picks today. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
The Junior Prospects Hockey League would like to congratulate its athletes for competing in the BCHL Showcase in Chilliwack.
Liam Pugh left circle hold, shoots, scores!
The 18U division put on a show in front of BCHL, NCAA, and NHL scouts, and proudly represented the league as they continue to develop as players and people. Thanks to the groundbreaking Universal Affiliation Agreement, unsigned JPHL players can suit up for multiple BCHL teams in the same season. Next up is the JPHL's Winter Championships in December.
I couldn't ignore it. Everyone kept saying, "You look so tired."
Are you getting enough sleep, dear?
Hon, you look like you need some rest.
But I'm not tired. I guess I just look that way.
But you don't have to. I'm Dr. Vance Elliott, and I provide skin-refreshing treatments designed to give you a fresh and natural appearance. Don't worry, we won't drastically change how you look, but we will help you look as energetic as you feel. Book your consultation today at drvanceelliott.com.
Legacy Heating and Cooling jingle auditions take one for Gene Principe. Are you ready, Gene?
Ready? I'm not just here to make a thermo couple of bucks. I'd never just microphone it in.
Take one.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
Nice.
Boom! I'm a musical genius.
Legacy's going to love this for furnace season.
What's not to love with no interest and no Principe payments for 1 year?
Are you always like this?
Yep, unlike a furnace, I have no filter.
Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Hey, it's Scott from Sherwood and St. Albert Dodge. I think it's safe to say we are all paying attention to interest rates these days. If so, you'll like this. We have 0% financing available on Jeep Compass, Wrangler, Grand Cherokee, and Wagoneer. 0% on the Dodge Durango and the all-new Hornet. And the rates on Ram 1500, Ram 2500, and Ram 3500, you guessed it, 0%. Are you picking up the theme? We have 0% financing on virtually all 2024 new models with hundreds to choose from. Why pay interest? Instead, come get a new vehicle at St. Albert and Sherwood Dodge.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Crystal Glass, your clear choice for residential windows, locally manufactured and installed. Crystal Glass provides a beautiful product and incredible customer services for all of your residential needs. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca for a quote.
From puck drop to kickoff, it's the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Game day continues on. Welcome back. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley with you on Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, anywhere on the app. Of course, watching live on YouTube and Facebook, Instagram, and X. Thanks so much for joining us today. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Oilers taking on the New York Islanders. A bevy of early games. Also, there's been a trade in the NHL today. Lars Eller is moving from Pittsburgh, going back to Washington, and a fifth round selection in next year's draft, and then a third rounder in 2027 going to the Pittsburgh Penguins. So the Penguins, let's be honest, man. If you're a Penguins fan, do you have any faith that Kyle Dubas can turn your team around? Like, honestly, they look lost right now. Lost. He has you can make a strong argument that team has gotten worse under him, not better. Not better at all. So we'll see where they go. Now let's talk. We'll get to the game day lineup right now, brought to you by Sherwood Power Sports and Marine, where, of course, right now, if you're looking for anything to get your boat serviced, right, for the winter, hey, I know you might have been done, but you got to get that. And you can already look for Christmas gifts for the outdoorsmen. Boats, looking for quads, ATVs, and more. They got it all at Sherwood Power Sports and Marine. Let's bring in Derek Van Diest from NHL.com. Joins us. DVD, how you doing?
Good, Jason. How are you doing today?
I'm all right, man. I am all right. Oilers got a really good performance against the Vancouver Canucks. They'll try to continue it tonight. Are you the power play obviously was the best it's looked all season long, no question. They scored once. They were dangerous every time. Nugent Hopkins should have scored. They did score one goal right after the power play expired, so it doesn't count as a power play goal, but it's pretty close. Do you think that's the jump off point now that the power play is back?
I think so. And I think they did the things that they were doing in the past couple of years, and I think the big one was puck retrieval, and that's what they talk about when you ask the Oilers, when you ask McDavid, you ask Draisaitl, you ask Nugent Hopkins about the strength of their power play. They'd always say they win battles, they work hard, they get the puck retrievals, and they keep the puck in the zone. And I think early on in the season, they weren't winning those battles. They weren't winning the opening faceoff, so they were chasing pucks back into their zone a lot. And obviously, when you're going back to chase a puck in your own zone, you don't have it as much time in the other zone. And I think that was always. They have these great guys in the power play. They have these great players. They have that big shot from Bouchard from the point. But every time you would ask these guys about the strength of their power play, they would always say, hey, puck retrieval. That's what we're good at. We're good at retrieving pucks. We're good at getting third chances. We're good at keeping the puck in the zone. And I think that's kind of what they did in Vancouver. They did that a lot better than they had been doing it before. And it's just a matter of working hard. You got to work hard on the power play as you do on the PK. And when you get those battles in the corner or along the wall or in front of the net, you got to try and win those battles. And the teams that wins those battles are usually the team that succeeds, whether that's on the power play or the penalty kill. And I think also, Jason, I think they got guilty of getting a little too cute. They're all trying to make that perfect pass and then get that last shot into the empty net, make it look cute, make it look pretty. Sometimes when things aren't going and teams are blocking that cross crease pass, you got to just hammer the puck at the net and go get it. You got to simplify it a little bit. And I think they did a little bit of that as well. But McDavid is back on form now. He's looking like he's kind of getting back after the couple of games after the ankle injury. So he looked good, especially in that third period. He looked really good in that third period. So I think, it'll start to come around the power play, but I think it does start with hard work, and I think those guys realize that.
Yeah, no, 100%. They've talked about it, and it looks like that they got off the schneid there, and then maybe it kind of carries over to other things. So we'll see where it goes. But I look at the Oilers now, and this week, these next two games. These should be games that you win, and you win handily against two teams that are struggling and don't come close to the offensive firepower that you have.
Well, you should, because the Islanders they're riddled with injuries right now. Matt Barzal's not playing. They got a bunch of guys that are out of the big names that are out of the lineup right now. No one really knows what's going on with Matt Barzal. It looks like he got hit. He has an upper body injury. We asked Patrick Roy about any update today. No update. They have nothing. They sent him home from Buffalo, so he's at home. He's not even on this road trip. And I was talking to Noah Dobson this morning, and he says, listen, we got to kind of just tread water here while we try and get these guys back and kind of stay at that 500 mark. But this is a wounded team coming in here, and the Oilers, I think, have to kind of take advantage of that, jump on them early, not give them an opportunity, don't let them hang around. And right now they're also in a bit of a goalie carousel as well. They don't know which guy they like better. So I think, that's a situation where the Oilers got to really attack them, go after them here, win this game. Nashville's a mess. Like Nashville, we thought they were going in the right direction last season. They're a mess, and the Oilers have owned them. Leon Draisaitl has owned the Predators. So those are two games that you must win. You'll be able to kind of get yourself up a couple of games above 500. Then you got the big game on Saturday against the Maple Leafs. But these are two. They're not gimme games. They got to go out and work and earn everything they've got. The Oilers haven't played very well at home this season. They want to play better in front of their fans. So these are a good two opportunities to do that. It starts tonight, and then also you have the Connor McDavid chasing 1,000 points. He's 5 points away, and we were talking about this morning, Jason. I don't know if he wants to go into that circus in Toronto, the media circus in Toronto, not having the 1,000 point. I think he'd rather walk in there having already achieved it, as opposed to going in there and everyone talking about, hey, will you get it tonight? Will you get it tonight? Regardless of how far away he is. So there's a lot riding on these next couple of games, and I expect the Oilers to play really well.
Yeah, I don't know if McDavid cares that much, but I think he'd love to do it in front of his home crowd more than anything else. And 5 points in 2 games which is still a lot. Don't get me wrong, but for McDavid, it wouldn't be a stunner if he did it. DVD, the rumor happened way back in February. Nothing came of it, but hearing now more and more, people again. I've been reading some articles today that they think Alphonso Davies and Real Madrid might become a real thing.
Yeah, it might be, and it kind of depends what's going on. And I think he wants to go to Madrid. Everyone wants to go to Madrid. It's like everyone wants to play for the New York Rangers at one point, or something like that. Madrid is so far above when it comes to spending and money. And the league, I'm not a huge fan of the Spanish league because I think it's a 2-team league, maybe 3-team league. So the games are very lopsided. Right. I think that but you can make the claim about Germany as well. Bayern Munich wins the title every year. But I think it will help in his development, and I think this is a player that is going into his prime, and he's a world-class player, and he's done pretty much all you can do at Bayern. He's won league championships, he's won the Champions League title there, and I think he's maybe looking for a new challenge. And if you're recruited to go to Real Madrid, you do it, you go, because that is the pinnacle of soccer career. If you say, I played for Real Madrid, or I played for Barcelona, I played for one of those big English teams, Liverpool, Man United, things like that, you get that chance, you go. No disrespect to the German league, but they're not on the same level as the English and the Spanish league are. So, yeah, I think this is a situation where he, for sure, if he gets the opportunity to go, he will go. And he's not going to play, I think it's, on Friday, Canada has a game in the Nations League. He's not playing in it because basically Canada should beat Suriname without Alphonso Davies. But 2, he doesn't want anything to jeopardize a possible move to Real Madrid. And yeah, I think it would be a great opportunity. He wants to go, and it's just a matter of whether they can work out a deal for him or not.
Yeah, couldn't he just transfer at the end of the year for free?
I'm not sure how it works. I think he might be able to, but I think the soccer transfers are so complicated and convoluted. I don't know how exactly it works in soccer, whether you can just leave and just go somewhere else. He might be able to. I'm not sure. But then I guess basically Bayern doesn't get anything out of developing Alphonso for the last 5 years or however long he's been there. So their teams always want to get something out of it. So if he's going to go, he's probably going to go before the transfer window.
Right. Yeah. Or they just wait. And although he might have another year on his deal, I have to look at that. So, but I know if they waited until the end of his deal, that's what everyone's talking about. They're like, well, they can just wait him out and then they get nothing. So it becomes a little bit of a game of cat and mouse. And do you want to wait? Do you want to go? Do you want to wait? And kind of, we'll see what happens there. But he's obviously a pretty established player and good for Canada. Now Canada, they should get by because then that gets them into the Final Four, correct?
Yeah, it gets them into the Final Four in the Nations League. So, yeah, it's a 2-game, home and away versus Suriname. So they play Suriname at home on Friday, and I think the away leg is on Tuesday. Alphonso Davies won't play neither. But, yeah, they should be able to cruise through there, get to the Final Four, and then that's probably when they'll meet Mexico or the United States or one of those teams. I'm not sure how the bracket breaks down. But, yeah, then that's usually these tournaments are set up. So Mexico and the U.S. meet in the final. CONCACAF, that's where they get the most money. Mexico, U.S. meet in the final. So they'll probably meet one or the other in the semifinal, home and away leg, and before they play the final. But these are good games for Canada to kind of find it's rhythm here. They have a spot in the 2026 World Cup. So it's just a matter of they don't have to qualify. So it's just a matter of getting some legs, getting some games, and then this is a good opportunity. Do you see some younger players that are coming up that may be available next summer?
Okay. DVD, we'll see you at the rink, man. Thanks for this.
Sounds good. Thanks for having me on.
There you go. That's Derek Van Diest from NHL.com. We'll come back. We're going to hear from Leon Draisaitl. I think you're going to want to hear what he has to say about Connor McDavid, who is 5 points away from 1,000. Breaks it down pretty well on what he's seen from McDavid, a little bit different than what you've heard from him before. That's coming up next on the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440, Orders Nation, YouTube, and Facebook, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Ain't it beautiful? There's electricity in the air. Carrie Dahl here for Volvo of Edmonton, where the Volvo XC40 and C40 fully electric vehicle is now in stock, along with a great selection of Volvo T8 hybrid models. Experience the trusted Volvo quality and technology to power into tomorrow at Volvo Cars Edmonton, Canada's only 12-time Volvo Excellence Award winners. Experience the difference. Volvo of Edmonton. Raise a smoothie to any friend you've had since 1999. That's a good friend. And Booster Juice was there, now celebrating 25 years in Canada and more than 450 locations from coast to coast. A silver anniversary splashed with lots of oranges. Celebrate 25 years of Booster Juice with the return of OG favorite smoothies like the Marathon, the Original, and the Orangesicle, made with oranges, orange sorbet, and vanilla frozen yogurt. Happy 25th Booster Juice. Download the Booster Rewards app today.
Weather forecast? Ugh. Savings forecast? Cha-ching. Save up to $225 on a set of 4 Select tires, plus a bonus $50 off any service of $150 at Fountain Tire until December 14th. Restrictions apply. Fountain Tire. We're on this road together.
Get early access to real Black Friday prices now at the Brick. Save up to 65% off select sofas when you buy the matching love seat or chair. Up to 25% off bedroom and dining furniture. Plus, save up to $700 off a big screen TV. And get free shipping on TVs over 50 inches. Find 40% off mattresses and next day delivery on in-stock beds. Plus, save 3 times the tax when you buy 2 or more Samsung major kitchen appliances. Find a lower price before the end of the year, and the Brick will refund the difference. Some exclusions apply. See in store for details.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Noodle, noodle, nood, noodle, nood, noodle, nood, noodle, noodle, nood. Noodle, noodle, nood, 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 noodle, noodle, nood, noodle, noodle, nood, noodle, nood, noodle, nood, noodle, noodle, nood. Noodle, noodle, nood, 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 noodle, noodle, nood.
Trouble low down to Oodle Noodle tonight because dine-in is open.
At Cross Mitsubishi, our legendary warranty is going even further.
Right now, upgrade to a 10-year, 200,000-kilometer bumper-to-bumper warranty on your new Mitsubishi.
Cross Mitsubishi will pay $1,000 towards your warranty upgrade, making it easier than ever to drive with confidence.
Visit Cross Mitsubishi today and secure your extended protection. 9605 34th Ave and at crossmitsubishi.ca.
Are you losing sleep over your debt? Being hounded by collection calls? My name is Parveen Middleton, a licensed insolvency trustee at BDO here in Edmonton. I understand this can be a stressful situation, and I'm here to help. I can put a stop to these collection calls and guide you towards your debt-free future. All it takes is one phone call. Let's discuss your debt relief options during a free consultation. Call 1-833-BDO-TALK or visit bdodebt.ca to learn more.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Papa John's. It's Terrific Tuesday. Get 40% off any regular priced pizza when you use the code word 40Tuesday at the start of each order at papajohns.ca.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
We roll through Game Day and Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube and Facebook. If you're revved up for the game, remember puck drop around 7:09 tonight, give or take, maybe even 7:07. 7:08, actually. I think it is if I was looking at the scoreboard correctly in the whiteboard in the Oilers room. Today, some early game sends 1-0 over Toronto. At the end of the first period, the Jets and the Rangers tied at 1 as Will Cooley has his 5th for the Rangers to tie it up after Scheifele scored. Panthers and Devils just underway, no score. Later on, the Bruins are in St. Louis, Islanders in Edmonton, and then the Vancouver Canucks on the road in Vancouver. Also, the late game will have the Columbus Blue Jackets. Dante Fabro will be going to Seattle. I know there's some people, I can tell you the Oilers weren't going to put in a claim on Fabro. That wouldn't have made much sense for the Edmonton Oilers. I know, hey, if you're looking at a few years ago, Fabro, great, but that's well in the past for where he is right now. Now, we'll get to Leon Draisaitl and just talk about Connor McDavid, who is 5 points shy of 1,000. And, his offensive game, and really for a guy who's pretty offensive himself, just, what he respects and what he's seen from McDavid over here the last decade.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's been a player like him before. I don't think there's a player that can create out of nothing like him ever in hockey. And, getting to 1,000 point at his age and how few games he's played, it's a little like mind blowing at times to see him break all these records. And but there's a lot of work that goes into it for him that a lot of people don't see. We're very fortunate to get to see him and watch him every day and see how much he cares about the game of hockey, or he cares about himself. And very fortunate to be able to learn from him and then just watch him do his thing is it's just fun to watch. It really, really is.
Puts it very well, right? Now, how he and McDavid have changed maybe off the ice, of course, coming in as young teenagers, and now kind of the big difference between them now until a decade ago.
I mean, we've grown up. We were 18-year-old kids, getting into the league and just, maybe a little bit starstruck and a little naive to certain things. But I think for him and I, it's always been, the passion and the love for the game that, has connected us in a way and where we're awfully similar. And watching hockey, seeing the game, learning, and that hasn't changed for him, nor has it for me. So it's been fun, watching him grow up on and off the ice. Just a terrific human being.
And McDavid, 5 points shy. He will become the fourth fastest in NHL history behind Mike Bossy, Mario Lemieux, and Wayne Gretzky to reach it. So tonight will be game 658 for McDavid. Now, could you imagine a 5-point game? Wouldn't be like outside the realms of now, it'd be a little abnormal for sure. But if someone said, hey, at the end of the night, hey, McDavid got 5 points tonight, people wouldn't sit there and be like, oh, never thought he'd get 5 points. Come on, that would never happen, right? So that's what makes it kind of unique, is that there is a chance he might be able to do it. So we'll see for McDavid and what will happen tonight for him, as he's obviously had a pretty good career thus far in his. I'm looking at most. How many times has McDavid had a 5-point game in his career? Counting. He's had 6 once. He's had 6 twice. Excuse me, and he has had 5 points. Oh, let's go with there'll be a quicker way to do this. So, he has had 5. Oh, geez. Gretzky's had so many. It's ridiculous. You got to go through the list. But so McDavid has had 6 points total. Oh, geez. Twice he's had 6. And he has had 5 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It looks like so 11, right? 9 5-pointers and 2 6-point games for Connor McDavid, and multiple 4-pointers. So he doesn't have to break the record tonight, but like if he gets 3 points tonight, I would be putting a strong wager on him getting 2 points against the Nashville Predators on Thursday to get the record on home ice. Star players like that, there's certain things that When they really want something, I think they can dig in and get it. Draisaitl just talked about, McDavid. It's just kind of his thing. Not necessarily wants the attention that comes with it, but something that maybe his team's got to make sure he gets.
Because he's not a guy that likes the show about it all. He likes the end product of it, and he puts his work into it every single day. And I'd be lying if I said he doesn't want to achieve it as soon as possible. That's human nature, but he's not for the show, and he's never been for the show. And that's probably, the thing that I respect about him the most. He goes about his things so quietly and in a way almost doesn't want the attention to all these things, even though he will get it and he should get it. But just the way he does things is very respectable, and just very fortunate to be around him.
And speaking of record chasing, I asked Draisaitl, Leon Draisaitl is the only other active player other than Alex Ovechkin to have 50 goals in consecutive seasons. He's also the only other active player to have 50 goals at least 3 times. Ovechkin, of course, has done it 9. Both guys are on pace to do it again this year. Ovi, it would be his 10th. That would be most in NHL history. And Draisaitl will be his 4th. Pretty damn impressive. And so I asked Draisaitl about kind of watching Ovechkin and just what impresses him most about his ability to score goals.
I think the most impressive thing about it is that everyone knows it's coming and you still can't stop it, right? That's like any great player in any sport. The whole game plan is to let Ovi not get looks around the net and not let him shoot it from the left circle. And every single night you go on the NHL app and it says Ovi pots 2, it's like, okay, like it's just impressive. And it's the same thing with Connor. Every team that comes in here, their game plan is, okay, how do we shut down Connor? He gets another 120 points, right? That's just what the best players do. They get better and better, and they find ways to continue to be productive. And the way Ovi has done that is obviously, incredible.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it. Cons, do you think he breaks Gretzky's record this season? Because now at the start of the year, you didn't think he would, did you?
No, I think I thought he was going to break it inevitably, probably like we all do. But I thought he'd get close. You know what? I actually have it documented.
Oh, yeah. No, I picked him to break it this year. I just thought he would get close. And
how many was he away?
He needed 42 to break the
record. Oh, okay. So I had him at 40. You had him at 43. TR had him at 30.
Yeah. Yeah, TR's 30. That's a low ball pick right now. Now,
disrespect.
It is disrespectful. We'll have to chirp him about that next time we have him on. But it's truly remarkable to see a player that dominant. And I like what Leon Draisaitl said. He goes, you know what? The most impressive part is, it's coming and people still can't stop it. Right? They're like, hey guys, Ovechkin, let's not let him beat us from the one time. But on the power play, it's different. He does score in lots of other ways, but he's showing that, and that's why I tell everybody, I think Connor McDavid is going to get to 2,000 points. Mark it down. And Sidney Crosby, if he wants to, could get there. Now, Crosby has 2 more years remaining on his contract, right? So let's see. Let's just say he gets 75 points, right? 75 points this year. And so that would put him, because he's currently at 1,612 points. So another 59 points. So that would put him at 1,671. And then if he scores another 150, well, now he's over, 1,800. 1,671, 70, 1,800. Well, he'd still he'd probably have to go 4 more seasons. So it's hard. But if he wanted to, he could. He's only this is only his 36-year-old season. 37, 38, 39, 44 more years. Like it's not outside the realms of possibility at all. Or actually Crosby's 37. So 37, 38, 39. Yeah. I could see him doing it if he really wanted to. But I think McDavid, the only way he doesn't score 2,000 points is if he has a serious injury. I don't think that's going to happen. He's a finely tuned athlete for sure. And when you look at Ovechkin at his age and the pace he's on, it's It just shows you what athletes are capable of in the advancements, really. Just human beings are capable of in the advancements of technology and nutrition and education and sleep and everything else. And like, Ovi could score 900 this year. He gets to 48 goals this year. He's at 900. Oh. And then I wonder, does he set a goal of 1,000? Oh, that'd be unreal. Enjoy the game, everyone. Andrew Walker, Donovan Paulson, they are up next in the pregame show. And then, of course, we'll have all the post-game reactions. The Oilers try to get back off on track on home ice tonight. On behalf of Connor Halley, I'm Jason Gregor. Let's get to a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling, home of the no payments, no interest for 1 year on your furnace. Stay cool warm all winter. LegacyHeating.ca.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Game day, the Oilers in action hosting the Islanders down at Rogers Place. Puck drop just after 7 o'clock. Our pregame coverage with Andrew Walker and Donovan Paulson coming up next year on Sports 1440. A couple games underway right now after 20 minutes.